Some people look at Sonny Hayes. They see a guy who lives in a van, a gambling junkie who missed his shot, the best that never was. But I
Dickhead. That was constructive.
Wow.
Did you win something? There's 20 other drivers still out on that track. Do you think any of them respect us?
They're saying Sonny Hayes isn't a has-been. He's a never was.
If the last thing I do is drive that car, I will take that life, man. 1,000 times.
I'm offering you an open seat in Formula One. The only place you could say, if you win, you are the absolute best in the world.
Friends, if you want to watch the upcoming high-octane movie F1 2025 in English, then make sure to like this video. And if you're visiting our channel for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Facts and Review family. In today's video, we're going to talk about one of the most awaited racing-themed films of the year, F1 2025. We'll cover everything you need to know about this movie, what this film is all about, where you can watch it, and some very interesting behind-the-scenes facts. I'll be telling you all the details on which OTT platform or satellite channel this film will be available and when. Plus, we'll dive deep into the technical department, the music score, pre-production details, filming process, post-production timeline, total budget, and box office predictions for F1 2025. Not only that, we'll also discuss the complete storyline of the movie, give you a short review, and explore the star cast, the characters they play, and their performances. If you're a fan of speed, drama, and adrenaline, then this video is a must-watch for you. So I request all of you to watch this video till the end. You don't want to miss a single detail. Let's get started. Narrative structure. F1 follows a mostly conventional, linear structure, anchored by the return and redemption arc, but embellishes it with race montages, emotional backstory flashbacks, and rising interpersonal tensions. Here's exactly how it unfolds. 1. Opening setup. Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, once a leading F1 driver of the 90s, has a career-derailing crash and retreats into obscurity, drifting through lower-tier racing circuits. He's depicted living a life of reflection and quiet regret. en.wikipedia.org. +15. theubj.com. +15. nypost.com. +15. The pain is both physical and psychological. He's lost his identity and sense of purpose. 2. Inciting incidents. Ruben Cervantes, Javier Bardem, Sonny's former teammate turned struggling team owner of APXGP, offers Sonny a pivotal deal, return, but this time as a mentor to rookie Joshua Noah Pierce, Damson Idris. apnews.com. +15. theubj.com. +15. en.wikipedia.org. +15. Initial hesitance gives way to acceptance as Sonny sees a chance for redemption and reconnect Ion with his inner racer. 3. Rising action and midpoint conflicts. Sonny joins APXGP alongside Joshua. Their relationship sizzles with mentorship versus rivalry. Sonny must guide Joshua's raw talent while grappling with seemingly becoming obsolete. The team collectively faces external pressures, technical setbacks, pit stop errors, smoke and mirrors sponsorships, and internal conflict as Joshua clashes with Sonny and seasoned team staff like Kate, Kerry Condon, Casper, Kim Bodnia, and others. en.wikipedia.org. +5. people.com. +5. theubj.com. +5. 4. Midpoint turning point. A critical race accident or mistake occurs, heightening tensions dramatically. Based on early leaks, a mid-season clash, or even literal on-track collision between Sonny and Joshua escalates to the point where team management threatens dismissal. Emotionally, Sonny confronts echoes of his own past trauma, while Joshua faces the possibility of losing his mentor. 5. Revelation and shift. After hitting a breaking point, such as a showdown in license or car battle, the rookie reaches out. Possibly through a heartfelt apology or seeking forgiveness, Joshua and Sonny reconcile. Sonny's mentorship deepens. Joshua starts to grow not just as a driver, but as a teammate and person. 6. Climax. The narrative builds toward the final Grand Prix. Stakes are high. This is Sonny's last race and Joshua's chance to prove himself and validate Sonny's return. On-track drama peaks, tire failures, pit chaos, high-speed duels, and off-track tension fires too. The emotional core. Sonny must lead Joshua not just to victory, but toward healing and purpose. Promised payoff. Joshua likely wins or places on the podium, etching Sonny's legacy. Reddit.com. +15. theubj.com. +15. Reddit.com. +15. boxthyslap.org. +1. factsmostly.com. +1. 7. Resolution. The film ends with high emotional resonance. Sonny redeems himself, Joshua matures into a star, and the mentor-protege bond holds strong as they cross finish lines and celebrate together. Narrative techniques and tone. Mostly linear, though interspersed with flashbacks, e.g., the 90s crash, Sonny's past failures. Montages affect montage pacing across the season. Testing, racing, training, reminiscent of Rush or Drive to Survive. aceplan.com. boxthyslap.org. +1. thetimes.co.uk. +1. Perspective shifts. The film balances camera time between Sonny's internal struggles and Joshua's ascendance. Authentic infusion, real racing footage, actual F1 drivers and team principals, like Toto Wolff, anchor the story in realism. boxthyslap.org. +7. formula1.com. +7. time.com. +7. High voltage sign key turning points and their emotional impact. Turning point conflict type emotional impact. Crash flashback inner trauma sets up Sonny's redemption arc, loss of purpose. First mentorship clash interpersonal sparks rivalry, uncertainty. Mid-season fallout broken trust Sonny questions his return. Joshua questions Sonny's methods. Reconciliation moment emotional breakthrough bonds mentor and protege, marks growth. Final race showdown high-stakes culmination of Sonny's arc and Joshua's rise to promise. Performing arts themes and emotional resonance. Redemption and legacy. Sonny's journey from disgrace to grace, reclaiming his identity through Joshua. Mentorship versus rivalry. Reflects complex power dynamics in elite sport. Be a team player, yet never forget you race as an individual. Generational transition. Bridging 90s grit with modern pressure. A metaphor for evolution in sport. Authenticity versus showmanship. With input from Lewis Hamilton and real F1 figures, the film leans hard on realism and emotional truth. Reddit.com. +10. formula1.com. +10. en.wikipedia.org. +10. people.com. apnews.com. +4. time.com. +4. wokewaves.com. +4. Clapperboard overall evaluation. Does it experiment? Modestly. While mostly linear, it injects vintage flashbacks and interleaves documentary-style montages. No jarring time jumps, rather, cinematic color through gentle flashbacks and race-focused storytelling. Does it pay off? Yes, the narrative beats are emotionally satisfying. Rivalries, reconciliation, a climactic win, and Sonny's emotional resolution. Narrative impact. The story offers more than adrenaline. It delves into personal healing, generational ties, and the truth behind the speed. It's a heartfelt blend of high-octane racing and human connection, grounded in authentic motorsport drama. Whiteheaver checkmark conclusion. In essence, F1 is a character-driven sports drama with a classic arc built around the spine of high-speed racing. It follows Sonny Hayes from broken veteran to redeemed mentor, paralleling Joshua Pierce's rise from rookie to contender. Conflicts, both internal and external, drive the story toward redemption, crowned with an emotionally rich finish on the racetrack. Expanded narrative breakdown, scene-level overview. Prologue, the fall of a legend. Set in the 1990s, the movie begins with Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, at the peak of his F1 career. A career-ending crash dramatically shifts his path, setting a tragic tone. Flashbacks reveal his emotional trauma, betrayal by his former team, and eventual withdrawal from the sport. Act 1, A Second Chance. In present day, the underdog F1 team APXGP, run by Ruben Cervantes, Javier Bardem, is desperate. They bring Sonny back, part marketing stunt, part mentor mission. Enter Joshua Noah Pierce, Damson Idris, a hot-headed, talented but undisciplined driver. Sonny is tasked with shaping him. Act 2, Tensions rise. Joshua resents Sonny's past and sees him as washed up. Meanwhile, Sonny struggles with modern F1's data-driven, corporate culture. Inter-team dynamics unfold. Kerry Condon, the team's strategy chief, distrusts Sonny's involvement. Casper, Kim Bodnia, pushes him to adapt or quit. Act 3, Breaking Point. A major on-track incident, possibly caused by miscommunication, nearly costs APXGP a podium. Joshua blames Sonny. Sonny nearly walks out. A powerful emotional scene shows Sonny confronting his own fears, not of racing, but of becoming irrelevant. Act 4, Redemption and Rebuilding. Sonny and Joshua reconcile during a nighttime garage scene, bonding over mutual loss and drive. Sonny shares never-before-told truths about his crash. They return with renewed synergy. Training sequences begin, emphasizing raw instinct plus modern telemetry working together. Finale, the Grand Prix showdown. The climactic race features real footage from Silverstone, with APXGP fighting top teams like Mercedes and Ferrari. Joshua wins his first podium, thanks to Sonny's real-time strategy call. Sonny bows out, not as a loser, but as a legend reborn through his protege. Epilogue. The film ends with a tribute-style montage. Sonny on a talk show, Joshua leading the grid next season, and fans rediscovering Sonny's legacy. Performing arts' deeper themes and emotional beats. Redemption versus legacy. Sonny's journey echoes athletes who fall from grace and seek peace, not applause. Mentorship versus obsolescence. Explores the tension between old-school intuition and new-age algorithms. Speed versus humanity. Shows how F1 isn't just about machines, it's about people navigating fear, trust, and ambition. Movie camera stylistic approach. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, Top Gun, Maverick, using IMAX-certified cameras mounted on real F1 cars. No CGI for racing. Every car sequence is shot live using modified Formula 2 vehicles and shot on location at Silverstone, Spa, Hungaroring, and more. Kosinski blends a documentary feel with a cinematic lens. Audiences are inside the cockpit and in the garage, not in grandstands. Busts in silhouette character arcs, expanded. Character arc summary. Sonny Hayes from legend to outcast to mentor to redeemed soul. His arc mirrors a fallen hero's emotional rehabilitation. Joshua Pierce from arrogant talent to emotionally aware athlete. He learns discipline, patience, and team spirit. Kerry Condon, embodies the skepticism of the modern system but slowly trusts the human side of racing. Ruben Cervantes once glory-chasing, now legacy-building. He's the emotional spine between old and new F1 worlds. Left-pointing magnifying glass behind-the-scenes insight. Lewis Hamilton serves as co-producer and technical advisor. The film is a passion project aimed at showing the humanity behind elite racing. Real F1 teams gave access to their pits and data to ensure unprecedented realism. Apple reportedly invested over $200 million, making it one of the most expensive sports dramas ever. Television want to know more? Visit the official article for full production insights. White right-pointing backhand index, how Lewis Hamilton and Apple brought F1 racing to the movie screen, Reuters. Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, the fallen legend turned mentor. Initial state. Sonny begins the film as a retired, emotionally scarred ex-champion, living in the shadow of his past. Haunted by a traumatic crash and industry betrayal, he is cynical and distant. Transformation. Through his mentorship of Joshua Pierce and reintroduction into the racing world, Sonny rediscovers purpose. His arc is defined by self-forgiveness, humility, and legacy building. By the end, he transitions from washed-up racer to respected mentor, symbolizing redemption and emotional healing. Key dynamics. Learns to let go of ego. Rebuilds trust with those around him, especially the new generation. Finds emotional closure through guidance, not personal glory. Racing car Joshua Noah Pierce, Damson Idris, the rising star with raw talent. Initial state. Joshua is young, ambitious, and recklessly confident. He views Sonny's arrival as an insult, leading to tension and arrogance-fueled rivalry. Transformation. Over the course of the film, Joshua evolves into a more mature, focused competitor. He begins to understand that talent must be shaped by wisdom and discipline. His emotional growth is deeply tied to his mentorship with Sonny. Key dynamics. Learns respect for experience. Gains emotional control and strategic thinking. Begins to appreciate teamwork and sacrifice. Kate, Kerry Condon, the strategic brain of the team. Role. As the head engineer or strategist, Kate initially distrusts Sonny, representing the voice of modern logic in the F1 world. Her arc is more subtle but reflects a softening from analytical skepticism to emotional trust. Transformation. Learns to value Sonny's instinct-driven approach. Balances data with human insight. Grows into a central team mediator between old and new ideologies. Wrench Ruben Cervantes, Javier Bardem, the dreamer-turned-rebuilder. Role. Former teammate of Sonny, now the owner of the APXGP team. Ruben's character showcases themes of risk, resilience, and visionary leadership. Transformation. Moves from nostalgic idealism to pragmatic leadership. Acts as the emotional and logistical glue of the team. Serves as a bridge between Sonny's past and Joshua's future. Nut and bolt Casper, Kim Bodnia, the gruff but loyal veteran. Role. A longtime team mechanic or technical lead. Casper is rough around the edges but loyal to the core values of racing. Transformation. Initially grumpy and jaded, he slowly becomes a fatherly figure for both Sonny and Joshua. Offers moral guidance at crucial moments. Reflects the gritty, human side of racing often overshadowed by glamour. Handshake character relationships and emotional web. Relationship conflict growth. Sonny and Joshua mentor versus student tension, mutual respect and symbolic father-son bond. Sonny and Kate instinct versus data, conflict collaboration and professional synergy. Sonny and Ruben old friends with broken past, reconciliation and trust reborn. Joshua and team ego versus teamwork, humility and leadership emerge. Performing arts impact on overall story. The character arcs serve as emotional engines for the plot. Racing may set the pace, but it's the internal battles, overcoming fear, trusting others, learning to lead, that drive the story forward. Their transformations not only impact race outcomes but define the emotional tone of each act. In summary, F1 2025 balances adrenaline with introspection. Its characters are layered, dynamic, and emotionally resonant, making it far more than just a sports film. It's a human drama about legacy, growth, and redemption. Brad Pitt as Sonny Hayes, the standout performance. Brad Pitt delivers a layered, introspective performance as Sonny Hayes, a retired F1 driver grappling with regret and reinvention. Pitt balances world weariness with a simmering intensity that reflects both the trauma and the pride of a fallen legend. His restrained emotion and subtle expressions provide the film with its emotional anchor, particularly during scenes where Sonny faces his past or mentors the next generation. Pitt's ability to convey depth without overacting makes his performance feel lived in and authentic. Key strengths: understated charisma, emotional vulnerability, mature screen presence. Notable scene: a late-night conversation in the garage with Joshua, where Sonny confronts his past, is a masterclass in quiet, character-driven acting. Racing car Damson Idris as Joshua Pierce, the emotional core. Damson Idris gives a breakout-level performance as the ambitious young driver who challenges the system and himself. Initially arrogant and impulsive, Idris embodies Joshua's emotional evolution with subtlety. His dynamic with Brad Pitt feels natural and powerful, allowing him to grow from hot-headed rookie to poised racer. Key strengths: youthful energy, emotional realism, chemistry with co-stars. Notable scene: a post-race confrontation with Pitt's character showcases his vulnerability and fear beneath the bravado. Woman #wrench Kerry Condon as Kate, subtle and impactful. Kerry Condon, as the team's lead strategist, gives a grounded, cerebral performance that counters the emotional highs of the races. Her calm control and emotional intelligence add realism to the team dynamics. Condon's performance reflects a deep understanding of professional women in male-dominated spaces. Key strengths: quiet strength, layered professionalism, presence without overstating. Clapperboard supporting cast, elevating the story's depth. Javier Bardem, as team owner Ruben Cervantes, brings warmth and charisma. His mix of nostalgia and ambition adds depth to the team's emotional stakes. Kim Bodnia plays Casper, the team's mechanic, with gritty humor and understated wisdom. He provides balance through grounded, working-class energy. Each actor plays their role with conviction, contributing to a believable and emotionally immersive team environment. Glowing star overall ensemble synergy. The cast chemistry is a standout aspect. There is a real sense of camaraderie, tension, and mutual respect among the characters, mimicking the high-pressure world of real Formula One. From pit-crew interactions to mentor-mentee exchanges, the ensemble builds an atmosphere that feels both cinematic and true to life. Movie camera conclusion. Performances that fuel the narrative. F1 2025 succeeds not just because of its breathtaking race sequences or technical realism, but because its cast brings genuine emotional weight to the cockpit and beyond. Brad Pitt and Damson Idris shine the brightest, but the supporting cast ensures the film resonates on every dramatic level. The performances collectively humanize the speed, making every victory and setback feel personal and earned. Would you like this transformed into a script for YouTube narration, or translated into Urdu? Narrative vision and emotional storytelling. Kosinski's directorial vision centers around a human story in a mechanical world. While the film is set against the dazzling backdrop of Formula One, he never lets the technical spectacle overshadow character arcs. The emotional journey of Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, and Joshua Pierce, Damson Idris, unfolds in a way that feels deeply personal and character-first. He uses visual motifs, like mirrors, helmets, and overhead race views, to mirror emotional states and growth. The tone shifts organically between adrenaline-pumping races and reflective, emotional dialogue. Kosinski's hallmark ability to pace both action and silence makes this balance feel seamless. Movie camera shot composition and cinematic techniques. Kosinski's direction thrives in the technical arena. IMAX-certified cameras mounted on modified F2 cars create immersive, first-person racing shots, placing viewers directly into the cockpit. These shots feel visceral and grounded, not artificial. Instead of shaky cams or excessive CGI, Kosinski uses long, fluid tracking shots, real-world lighting, and symmetrical framing that elevate the experience. He juxtaposes quiet, character-building scenes, such as intimate pit garage talks or nighttime reflections, with roaring track sequences, keeping the film rhythmically dynamic. Racing car has unique stylistic choices. In-camera realism. Kosinski insisted on shooting real cars on real tracks. This enhances believability and adds a raw, kinetic energy. Minimalist sound design during introspection. Unlike typical sports films, the quiet moments are allowed to breathe. There are no intrusive scores, just ambient tones or engine echoes, enhancing emotional weight. Color grading. The film shifts from cool metallic tones in early scenes, reflecting emotional detachment, to warmer hues in the climax, symbolizing healing, connection, and trust. Stopwatch hash pacing and structural flow. The film's pacing mirrors a race season structure. Slow build-up in preseason, Act 1, emotional turbulence during mid-season races, Act 2, and high-stakes tension in the Grand Prix climax, Act 3. Kosinski ensures that character development is never rushed. Every arc gets space to evolve. Tension builds gradually, using real-world race setups and delays as narrative tension devices, enhancing realism and audience investment. Philosophy behind the camera. Kosinski approaches F1 not just as a racing film, but as an exploration of what it means to pursue relevance, legacy, and mentorship. His direction honors the soul of the sport, speed, danger, glory, but keeps the focus firmly on the drivers as complex, evolving human beings. Bullseye final thoughts. Joseph Kosinski's direction in F1 2025 is a tour de force of controlled intensity and emotional subtlety. With groundbreaking camera work, emotionally intuitive pacing, and a laser-focused narrative vision, he transforms a potentially formulaic sports drama into an immersive, character-driven epic. His choices elevate the film into a genre-defining experience. Vision and tone. Kosinski blends viscerally real racing sequences with deeply human moments. Inspired by Drive to Survive, he crafts an underdog narrative, focusing on character relationships against the backdrop of elite motor racing. SI.com. +15. Swaggermagazine.com. +15. DTMovies.com. +15. His approach is holistic. The film is designed not just for F1 fans, but for all audiences, portraying universal themes like friendship, sacrifice, and redemption. Swaggermagazine.com. Racing car #cinematic authenticity. Live race filming. Scenes were shot between actual practice or qualifying during Grand Prix weekends, e.g., Silverstone, Austria, with actors in modified F2 cars equipped with IMAX-certified camera systems. Reddit.com. +5. ScreenRant.com. +5. GQ.com. +5. Minimal CGI. Kosinski avoids green screen. He uses fluid tracking shots, real lighting, and genuine engine roar, capturing action at up to 180 miles per hour. NYPost.com. +15. TheTimes.co.uk. +15. SwaggerMagazine.com. +15. Clapperboard stylistic and technical innovation. Custom camera rigs. Developed in collaboration with Sony and Mercedes-AMG, the rigs are compact yet robust enough for cockpit mounting without performance loss. DTMovies.com. Immersive sound design. Real on-car mics capture authentic engine tones, every rev, shift, and roar, enhanced by a thrilling Hans Zimmer score. SwaggerMagazine.com. Color storytelling. The film uses cool, steely tones in early scenes to reflect emotional distance, gradually warming as characters heal and bond. Stopwatch hash pacing and narrative flow. Kosinski structures the film like a race season. Act I, Slow Burn, introduces Sonny's fall and team resurgence. Act 2, Mid-season tension, rivalries, crashes, character clashes. Act 3, Grand Finale, emotional and sporting climax at the final Grand Prix. Reuters.com. +13. SwaggerMagazine.com. +13. ConcretePlayground.com. +13. Time.com. +15. Movies.ie. +15. GQ.com. +15. Reddit.com. He allows emotional beats room to breathe, balancing tension with moments of quiet maturity. Handshake collaboration and authenticity. Lewis Hamilton's role, co-producer and technical consultant, Hamilton influenced narrative structure, character depth, and race authenticity, shaping both story and driving scenes. Formula1.com. +4. Reuters.com. +4. CBR.com. +4. Mercedes-AMG and Toto Wolff. They helped adapt F2 cars, preserve aerodynamic integrity, and enhance on-track realism. DTMovies.com. +4. SI.com. +4. SwaggerMagazine.com. +4. Ensemble coordination. Kosinski emphasizes the full F1 ecosystem, drivers, pit crews, engineers, highlighting unseen heroes within the sport. Movies.ie. +3. SharpMagazine.com. +3. DTMovies.com. +3. Glowing Star unique directional highlights. Live stage conditions. Scenes filmed with the energy of live audiences in short 10 to 15-minute windows akin to theater performances, raising the stakes for cast and crew. Emotional grounding. Racing is never just spectacle. Kosinski balances adrenaline with intimacy, poignant garage scenes, quiet mental moments, and laid character dynamics. White-heavy checkmark final impact. Kosinski's direction succeeds in making F1 2025 both a technical marvel and an emotional journey. His stylistic choices, live filming, immersive sound, precise pacing, elevate the material, creating a narrative that's high-stakes, heartfelt, and authentic. With that narrative precision, Kosinski ensures the film resonates long after the engine's quiet. Camera angles, total immersion in speed. The film's camera work utilizes never-before-seen angles in a narrative feature. Real F2 cars were outfitted with custom-built, ultra-compact camera rigs designed specifically for the high-speed, high-G environment of Formula One tracks. Cockpit POV shots. Miranda and director Joseph Kosinski use helmet-level perspectives that place viewers in the driver's seat, capturing the rapid motion of hands on the wheel, G-force head movements, and tunnel-like focus at 180+ miles per hour. Wheel-level tracking shots. These ground-hugging angles showcase the mechanical ballet of tires locking, sparks flying, and overtakes happening in real time. Overhead drones and crane swoops seamlessly transition from intense racing to broader circuit landscapes, highlighting both isolation and grandeur. These angles are not just stylistic, they reflect the psychological state of the drivers, especially during moments of crisis or clarity. Electric light bulb lighting, tension, mood, and symbolism. Lighting in F1 2025 shifts dynamically across character arcs and thematic shifts. Cool, metallic hues dominate early scenes, symbolizing the mechanical nature of Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, life and his detachment from the racing world. As his mentorship with Joshua, Damson Idris, deepens, warmer tones begin to appear in garage interiors, sunset track scenes, and pit discussions, visually signaling emotional thaw and connection. Night racing scenes are among the most visually striking, lit with soft neon glows and trackside halogens that cast surreal silhouettes, emphasizing danger and uncertainty. Lighting is also used to separate public performance, day races, from private emotion, low-lit, solitary scenes in motorhomes or empty garages. Framing, storytelling through composition. Claudio Miranda uses framing to build character psychology. Tight cockpit close-ups during moments of self-doubt isolate the driver within the machine, reinforcing themes of identity, fear, and control. Symmetrical pit lane shots reflect the ritualistic nature of Formula One, giving the sport a near-military precision. Negative space is often employed around Sonny's character in early scenes, emphasizing his emotional distance and loneliness. As the story progresses, frames become tighter and more inclusive, mirroring his reconnect ion to the team and to purpose. A key example is a wide shot at dawn before the final race, where Sonny and Joshua stand on opposite sides of the starting grid, silhouetted by rising sun, visually conveying both division and destiny. Fire visually striking moments. On-track overtakes in Monaco, captured in IMAX aspect ratio with minimal cuts, these moments feel like balletic violence, beautiful and brutal at once. Helmet reflections. The visor becomes a storytelling device, reflecting not just the racetrack, but internal fears, memories, or glimpses of other characters. Final Grand Prix sequence alternates between high-speed kinetic frenzy and serene slow motion, with dust, tire smoke, and sunlight forming a near-poetic atmosphere. Fog atmosphere and tension. Through cinematography, F1 2025 builds a tangible sense of tension, especially in scenes like grid preparations before a race. Steadicams and close-ups capture shallow breathing, mechanical clicks, nervous eyes. Crash sequences, shot with unflinching realism, no over-editing, no Hollywood explosions. Instead, there's a haunting stillness post-impact, with muted audio and dust particles suspended in the air, echoing shock and silence. The cinematography amplifies emotion without exaggeration. A crash isn't just spectacle. It's a psychological event, a career shift, a life-altering moment. Bullseye conclusion, a visual symphony. F1 2025 redefines sports cinematography by fusing technological innovation with narrative sensitivity. Claudio Miranda's visuals do more than capture speed. They explore identity, connection, fear, and legacy. Every frame contributes to the atmosphere, every shadow deepens the mood, and every angle brings the audience closer to the human engine behind the machine. Would you like this converted into a YouTube script or an Urdu translation next? Camera angles and movement. Cockpit immersion. 4 ultra-compact Sony 6K cameras are mounted inside F2-based cars for full POV, capturing every subtle movement. Wheel turns, hand gestures, vibrations. This is possible thanks to custom rigs based on Sony Rialto tech from Top Gun, Maverick. Mensjournal.com. +15. Tech-news.verticalbarmedia.com. +15. Scuderiafans.com. +15. Dynamic pan and tilt. Wireless RF mounts allow operators to remotely adjust cameras mid-race, tracking overtakes, driver's eye lines, and reactions live, resembling a TV broadcast director's control. Wire-free precision. Cameras weigh minimally to preserve car performance. Each cockpit holds up to 7 rigs, maintaining authenticity while capturing visceral detail. Immersive sequence framing. Drone and crane shots transition between sweeping exterior views and intense cockpit sequences, maintaining pace and emotional clarity. Electric light bulb lighting and atmosphere. Intentional color tones. Early scenes feature cool, industrial lighting reflecting Sonny's emotional detachment. As character bonds deepen, warmer hues permeate garage scenes and sunset races. Night racing drama. Tracks lit by neon and halogens create stark silhouettes and high-contrast shadows, heightening intensity and foreshadowing critical narrative shifts. Emotional spotlighting. Intimate scenes, late-night pit talks or reflective moments. Use soft, low-key lighting to highlight vulnerability and contrast with high-energy track scenes. Frame picture framing and visual storytelling. Isolation through tight framing. Early close-ups tightly frame Sonny alone in the cockpit or dimly lit trailers, visually conveying his emotional solitude. Symmetrical pit visuals. Pit lanes are framed with symmetrical precision, mirroring the discipline and ritual of F1 and underlining the team's collective heartbeat. Symbolic wide shots. Key emotional beats, like father-son tensions, are punctuated by wide shots, Sonny and Joshua separated on grid lines, shadows accentuating emotional and narrative distance. Left-pointing magnifying glass visually striking moments. Crash sequences in slow motion, real sparks, painted debris, and engine groans captured in haunting clarity. No overblown CGI, just raw realism. People.com. +15. Topkey.com.ph. +15. nypost.com. +15. thetimes.co.uk. +1. apnews.com. +1. Helmet reflections. Visors reflect track lights, other cars, and even memories, creating poetic overlays that tie internal conflict to external chaos. IMAX panache. The film includes large-format IMAX scenes, especially high-speed overtakes and chase moments, shot with Sony Venice cameras and constituting over 40% of the runtime. Essentialasports.com. +9. ymcinema.com. +9. reddit.com. +9. Stopwatch hash pacing and narrative visual flow. The cinematography reflects a race season rhythm. Build-up, controlled, deliberate framing and cooler tones. Mid-season heat, kinetic rapid-fire edits, trackside intensity, and tighter shots. Final stretch, long takes, dramatic light shifts, and climactic framing for maximum emotional payoff. This visual pacing mirrors character arcs. Raw emotion takes over as stakes escalate, only to resolve in clarity and unity by the finale. Clapperboard technical innovation. Custom-built cameras. Apple and Sony collaborated on iPhone source sensor modules, capturing ProRes footage in log format for post-production color grading. AOL.com. +3. Wired.com. +3. Reuters.com. +3. On-car complexity. Each camera system had to be lightweight yet durable. Units were remotely operated, transmitting footage live across RF setups around real tracks. People.com. +15. Formula1.com. +15. Motorsportmagazine.com. +15. BTS integration. Filming during real race weekends with live F1 audiences. Shooting in tight racetime windows infused genuine atmosphere into every shot. People.com. +15. it.wikipedia.org. +15. gq.com. +15. Bullseye overall impact. F1 2025 radically raises the bar for sports cinematography. Every angle, frame, and light cue is used to convey speed and danger with physical authenticity. Visualize internal emotion, loneliness, tension, triumph, without a word spoken. Build immersive, lived-in environments that deeply connect audience and character. Claudio Miranda and Kosinski's work transforms F1 into more than a sports film. It's a visual deep dive into human and mechanical precision, offering moviegoers an unmatched sensory and emotional ride. Editing style, precision-crafted momentum. The editing in F1 2025 is sharp, kinetic, yet surprisingly restrained when necessary. Eddie Hamilton employs a blend of fast cuts, extended single takes, and cross-cutting to keep the audience deeply engaged while never overwhelming them. During race sequences, the editing mirrors the driver's sensory overload. Rapid cuts between helmet POVs, side-view mirrors, rear tires, dashboard telemetry, pit radio, and roaring engines. These are juxtaposed with wide aerial shots, allowing brief moments of visual relief before diving back into chaos. In off-track scenes, the pacing slows dramatically. Hamilton gives the dialogue and character beats room to breathe, often holding shots longer to linger on facial expressions, subtle gestures, or tense silences. This contrast in tempo strengthens the emotional resonance of both the human and mechanical stories. Counterclockwise arrows seamless transitions, from speed to stillness. One of the film's greatest editorial strengths is its fluid transitions between on-track intensity and off-track introspection. Scene crossfades often use sound bridges. A whirring engine overlaps with a hushed locker room, or a pit crew's yell dissolves into a flashback, ensuring emotional continuity even as settings change. Visual match cuts, e.g., spinning tire to spinning record, or burning rubber to flickering campfire, are employed to link past and present, metaphor and reality. These transitions enhance thematic unity without drawing overt attention to the edit itself. Chart with downward trend, chart with upward trend pacing arcs, building drama like a race season. The film is paced like an F1 season itself, with emotional and narrative peaks and valleys. Opening act establishes characters and worlds slowly but purposefully. Pacing is meditative, especially around Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, reflecting his internal stagnation and reluctance. Midpoint surge. As Joshua, Damson Idris, begins to rise and challenges Mount, the editing grows brisker. Race scenes become more frequent, intercut with tighter team dynamics and strategic decisions. Emotions heat up, pacing reflects urgency. Climax and final race. The final 25 minutes are a masterclass in sustained tension. Cross-cutting between multiple drivers, team radio, spectators, and slow-motion crash moments maximizes stakes. The last lap features a real-time sequence with minimal cuts, heightening immersion and audience anxiety. Performing arts emotional rhythm. When to breathe, when to burst. Eddie Hamilton understands when to let emotion sit. Some of the most powerful scenes in F1 2025 involve deliberate stillness. A quiet walk through the paddock after a crash. A single lingering shot on Joshua's face before his first pole position. The use of silence, no score, just ambient sound, makes moments of celebration or tragedy hit harder. This rhythm keeps the viewer emotionally engaged, not just thrilled by the action. Film montages and temporal play. Training montages are not cliches here. They are blended with real telemetry data and pit footage, cut to original scores by Hans Zimmer that evolve with character growth. There are no major flashbacks, but the film uses visual callbacks, earlier shots replayed from new angles, to emphasize memory, regret, and personal progress. Crossmark are their pacing flaws. For the most part, F1 2025 avoids bloat. However, viewers unfamiliar with F1 might find some mid-season technical strategy scenes a bit dense or slow, though these are essential to fans and are trimmed with voiceover exposition for clarity. Some critics might argue the first act is slow to start, as it heavily focuses on character setup before diving into racing action. Yet this choice is purposeful. It builds emotional investment that pays off later. Bullseye conclusion. Editorial brilliance in motion. The editing and pacing of F1 2025 elevate it from a sports movie to a cinematic race experience. Eddie Hamilton crafts a rhythm that reflects the emotional pulses of both the racetrack and the heart. From seamless transitions to exhilarating race choreography, and from emotional stillness to roaring crescendos, the editorial flow of the film ensures every moment lands with precision. This is a film felt as much through cuts as through dialogue, where each second is part of a carefully tuned engine running at cinematic full throttle. Would you like this written as a YouTube script or with Urdu translation for your audience? Editing style and momentum. Kinetic race sequences. Race scenes utilize rapid-fire crosscuts, helmet POVs, tire shots, telemetry glue boards, pit radios, engine roars, interwoven with wide-angle track footage. This creates a visceral sense of speed, danger, and immersion. Meanwhile, calmer off-track moments are given room to breathe, with prolonged takes that highlight emotional nuance. Sharp transitions. Emotional and visual cohesion is achieved through sound bridges, e.g., the whine of the engine blending into a tense garage scene, and match cuts, like a spinning tire transitioning into a spinning memory, sustaining the narrative's flow without drawing attention to the edits. Chart with upward trend structuring the season rhythm. Hamilton edits the film to mirror the progression of an F1 season. Act I, setup, intro lull. Slow pacing underscores Sonny's stagnation post-retirement. Scenes are gently edited with silence and space to breathe, establishing mood. Act 2, development, building tension. As Joshua emerges and mid-season crises unfold, the editing becomes more frenetic. Tighter cuts heighten tension in both racing and interpersonal dynamics. Act 3, climax, high-octane finale. In the final race, editing shines, real-time cross-cutting between drivers, pit crews, and spectators, interspersed with slow-mo crash moments, blasts the audience to the edge of their seats. This narrative pacing ensures emotional stakes rise in parallel with on-track drama. Performing arts emotional rhythm and breathing spaces. Silence speaks, quiet scenes, like Sonny walking through the paddock after a crash or sitting alone in the trailer, feature minimal audio and long takes, humanizing the characters amidst machine-driven chaos. Layered montages. Training and progress are represented through montages tied to Hans Zimmer's kinetic score and voiceover indicators, reinforcing growth across the season without overdemonstration. News.com.au. +8. ScreenRant.com. +8. Newsweek.com. +8. GQ.com. +13. en.wikipedia.org. +13. ymcinema.com. +13. Continuity and narrative flow. Editing also addresses continuity challenges from multi-season filming and real-world Grand Prix schedules. Digital reskinning. Post-production adjusted liveries and colors to maintain narrative track season consistency during extended shooting schedules. de.wikipedia.org. +9. f1oversteer.com. +9. speedope.com. +9. Narrative trimming. Scenes, including a subplot with Simone Ashley, were cut in editing to streamline the story, focusing tightly on the Sonny Joshua arc. nypost.com. Scales are their pacing pitfalls. The opening is deliberately meditative. Some viewers may see it as slow, but it's purposeful, building emotional investment. The midsection's technical pit lane strategy discussions may seem dense to non-fans, but are enhanced by Hamilton's judicious voiceover, keeping them engaging. White have a checkmark final take. Through meticulous editing, F1 2025 becomes more than just racing on screen. It's a cinematic simulation of speed, stakes, and personal transformation. Eddie Hamilton's pacing elevates the narrative, rapid during races, reflective off-track, and seamlessly woven to support both emotional depth and cinematic exhilaration. It succeeds in letting us feel every shift in gear and heartbeat. Musical identity and themes. Zimmer constructs the score with distinct musical motifs tailored to key emotional and narrative beats. 1. Sonny Hayes theme, Brad Pitt. A reflective, melancholic motif featuring minor piano chords layered with slow ambient synths. It's used in scenes of regret, introspection, or quiet determination, emphasizing the weight of Sonny's past and his cautious return to the sport. 2. Joshua Pierce's theme, Damson Idris. More youthful and rising, built around ascending strings and pulsing digital rhythms, symbolizing ambition, growth, and raw potential. This theme evolves over the film, subtly shifting instrumentation as Joshua matures as both a racer and a man. 3. The race pulse motif. Perhaps the most iconic piece in the score, used during key races. It's a rhythmic, heartbeat-like percussion track layered with revving engine synths, electric guitar riffs, and brass crescendos. It acts as a metronome for the film's high-speed sequences, amplifying the tension lap by lap. Headphone sound and silence, emotional calibration. Zimmer is a master of strategic restraint. In F1, he balances silence and sound to guide the audience's emotional engagement. Pre-race silence. Moments just before the lights go green are often played with minimal or no score, just ambient paddock sounds and breath. This builds anticipatory tension, letting viewers share in the race's hyper-focused mindset. Post-crash stillness. When crashes occur, music sometimes cuts out completely, replaced by muffled sound design or heartbeat effects. This conveys disorientation and trauma, drawing the viewer into the character's experience. Character-driven interludes. During reflective monologues or personal revelations, Zimmer lets solo instruments, usually strings or piano, carry the emotional load with slow, simple melodies, ensuring the music supports rather than overpowers the acting. Musical score, musical transitions, and scene integration. The score is seamlessly interwoven with the film's editing and cinematography. Montage integration. Training, testing, and pre-season development montages are perfectly timed with rising tempos and key changes, giving a natural progression to character arcs. Crossfade scoring. Themes morph mid-track to follow location or emotional shifts, e.g., from a heated pit crew moment into a quiet, off-track father-son conversation without an abrupt musical break. Radio needle drops and licensed music. Although Hans Zimmer provides the core score, F1 also features select needle drops, popular songs used sparingly for maximum impact. Garage rock or UK grime accompanies team prep scenes, adding cultural texture and contrast. One notable track, used during a nighttime Monaco party, features a remix of a Daft Punk classic, aligning the scene's luxury and chaos with youthful rebellion. These licensed tracks are strategically placed to provide rhythmical variety and ground the film in a real-world pop cultural setting. Repeat button recurring motifs and payoffs. Zimmer's motifs are not static. They evolve across the film. Joshua's theme becomes richer and more orchestral as he matures, signaling his narrative growth. Sonny's theme modulates into major key chords in the final act, reflecting redemption and reconnect Ion. During the climactic final race, motifs interweave, symbolizing unity and mutual respect between mentor and protege, making the score a storytelling device in itself. Megaphone. Does the score ever overwhelm? Rarely. Zimmer's restraint is evident in dialogue-driven scenes, and his action cues, while powerful, are mixed to complement, not compete with, engine roars and crowd ambience. His experience with films like Rush and Dunkirk shines through, maintaining balance and clarity even in high-volume sequences. Bullseye final assessment. The score of F1 2025 is a dynamic symphony of speed, soul, and sound. Hans Zimmer blends orchestral craftsmanship with modern sonic textures, creating a musical experience that is just as thrilling as the film's visuals. From recurring character motifs to powerful silence, and from race-driven beats to introspective strings, the soundtrack amplifies the narrative's emotional core while echoing the roar of the track. Zimmer's work on F1 will likely be remembered as one of his most immersive and emotionally versatile scores in recent years, a musical pole position in cinematic sound design. Would you like a breakdown of the top 5 standout tracks from the film's score or an Urdu YouTube script version? Hans Zimmer's score, Heartbeat of the Race. Hans Zimmer returns to motorsports, following Rush, to craft a dramatic, emotional soundscape that mirrors F1's tension and triumph. Collaborative composition. Zimmer worked closely with Steve Mazzaro. Director Joseph Kosinski described him as an amazing genius who brought forward key themes. Tribune.com.pk. +15. Collider.com. +15. Collider.com. +15. en.wikipedia.org. +3. Tribune.com.pk. +3. Moneycontrol.com. +3. Live inspiration. Brad Pitt invited Zimmer to an actual F1 weekend, alongside Lewis Hamilton, enabling him to capture the real energy and ambience of the sport. thetimes.co.uk. +2. Tribune.com.pk. +2. thesun.co.uk. +2. Audible themes. Kosinski praised Zimmer for writing a real melody you just can't get out of your head, promising memorable character leitmotifs. Collider.com. +1. TheaUreview.com. +1. Character motifs and evolution. Zimmer's compositions support the narrative arcs. Sunny Haze. Pitt, a melancholic piano-based motif, highlights his regret and internal conflict. Joshua Pierce. Idris, his theme features ascending strings and electronic pulses, evolving with Joshua's growth. Race pulse motif. A heartbeat-like percussion fused with engine revs and electric guitar underscores key race sequences, building lap-by-lap tension and pacing. Speaker-off sound versus silence, emotional dynamics. Pre-race tension. Moments before the flag drop are often scored with near silence or minimalist ambient hums. This amplifies anticipation and psychological intensity. Crash aftermath. Zimmer strategically pulls back the music during crashes, letting silence and sound effects like crashing metal and beeps create disorientation and emotional weight. Emotional dialogue. Subtle string or piano underscoring supports key character moments. Zimmer ensures the music enhances rather than overwhelms the acting. Globe with Meridian's F1 the album, global soundtrack variety. In addition to Zimmer's score, F1 2025 features a curated ecosystem of songs across genres. Don Toliver and Doja Cat, Lose My Mind, a synth-heavy rap track carrying high energy into race montages. Reddit.com. +15. en.wikipedia.org. +15. Reddit.com. +15. Reddit.com. +7. apnews.com. +7. Tribune.com.pk. +7. Collider.com. +7. Collider.com. +7. thetimes.co.uk. +7. time.com. +1. TheaUreview.com. +1. Rosé, Blackpink, Messy, a pop-driven hit used in emotional plot points and promotional sequences. apnews.com. +2. en.wikipedia.org. +2. en.wikipedia.org. +2. Tate McRae, Just Keep Watching, a fast-paced, club-infused track employed during montage or high-intensity scenes. en.wikipedia.org. +2. en.wikipedia.org. +2. apnews.com. +2. Ed Sheeran feat. John Mayer and Dave Grohl, Drive, an emotionally charged ballad composed specifically for Sonny's epilogue, reflecting his path to redemption. nypost.com. +3. apnews.com. +3. musicradar.com. +3. Global diversity. The soundtrack includes artists like Chris Stapleton, Rosé, Burna Boy, Tiesto, and Roddy Ricch, selected to reflect F1's international footprint. musicradar.com. +3. apnews.com. +3. en.wikipedia.org. +3. Multiple musical notes, cohesion and narrative rhythm. Sequence-tailored scoring. Producers lined up song choices against scenes to find the best narrative fit, not necessarily the biggest name. apnews.com. Motif development. Zimmer's themes evolve, reflecting characters. Joshua's motif gains orchestral heft. Sonny's resolves in major key in the climax. Silence as contrast. Zimmer applies stark musical contrast, silent build-ups, sudden crescendos, and emotional payoffs reinforce scene impact. Bullseye final assessment. The F1, 2025, soundtrack is multilayered and emotionally intelligent. Zimmer's thematic motifs anchor character development and narrative beats. The score thrives on contrast, speed versus silence, noise versus intimacy, enhancing both on-track and off-track drama. The commercial album complements the score, adding cultural texture and broad appeal while staying faithful to the film's tone. Zimmer and the production team strike a refined balance. No music overpowers. Instead, every note, dip into silence, and beat build enhances the story's pulse. In short, F1's music operates like a high-performance engine, precision-tuned, emotionally calibrated, and rhythmically aligned with every narrative twist. Legacy and the weight of the past. At the heart of F1 lies the story of Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, a former Formula One driver who returns to the racing world after years in retirement. His arc is a meditation on legacy, what one leaves behind and whether the past defines who we are now. Sonny carries the burden of past mistakes, a once great driver whose career ended not with triumph but controversy. His return is not for fame, but redemption, to prove to himself and to the world that he still matters in a sport that has moved on. This theme resonates through quiet moments, Sonny walking through the pit lane, eyes on younger drivers, haunted by what could have been. White right pointing backhand index. The film effectively contrasts youth and experience, past and present, showing that sometimes, the race we're truly running is against our own history. Wrench 2. Mentorship and the transfer of wisdom. The relationship between Sonny and Joshua Pierce, Damson Idris, embodies the classic mentor-protege dynamic. Yet F1 refreshes this trope with emotional nuance and mutual growth. Joshua, the young rising star, is raw, passionate, but reckless. Sonny, shaped by loss and failure, provides not just technical knowledge, but emotional grounding. Their bond evolves from transactional, coach and racer, to transformative, almost father-son. Repeat button. As Sonny helps Joshua grow as a driver, Joshua helps Sonny heal as a man, teaching him that passing the torch is not a defeat, but a fulfillment of purpose. 3. Reinvention and second chances. F1 champions the idea that it's never too late to reinvent oneself. Sonny's comeback is symbolic of countless people facing aging in fast-paced careers, questioning their relevance in a youth-dominated field. He must learn to adapt, not by being the fastest again, but by being the wisest in the room. The film doesn't glamorize returning to the top. It focuses on the humility and courage it takes to start over. This theme is echoed across other characters too. Pit crew members changing roles, engineers innovating under pressure, and young racers learning from failure. Fire 4. The cost of greatness. A recurring message is the emotional and physical toll of chasing greatness. The intense training, sacrifice of personal relationships, and constant fear of death or defeat are always present. Flashbacks and character dialogues reveal the psychological scars Sonny and others carry, reminding viewers that Formula One is not just sport, but obsession. Headphone. Even the soundtrack and score support this, using silence during crashes or introspective moments to emphasize the fragility beneath the bravado. Globe showing Europe Africa 5. Diversity, inclusion, and representation. Without becoming preachy, F1 subtly addresses representation and modern identity. Joshua Pierce, a black driver mentored by a white veteran, represents progress in a historically exclusive sport. His struggles aren't tokenized but authentically portrayed, from media pressure to inner doubts. Female engineers, diverse pit crew, and international races reflect the real-world evolution of motorsports. Globe with Meridians. The film positions Formula One as a global mirror, competitive, evolving, and finally inclusive. Performing Arts 6. Identity beyond the helmet. Another deep layer is the idea of identity beyond profession. Who is Sonny Hayes if not a racer? Who is Joshua Pierce when he's not the fastest man on the grid? The story forces characters to confront themselves outside the track, through friendships, losses, and choices that have nothing to do with speed. Pushpin. F1 delivers a profound message. You're more than the job. More than the title. More than the win. White heavy checkmark. Final verdict on themes. From a third-person perspective, F1, 2025, weaves its themes organically through character arcs, visuals, pacing, and music. Nothing feels forced. Every message is embedded in the action, emotion, and silence of the film. It leaves audiences not only thrilled, but thoughtful, encouraging them to reflect on how we define ourselves, how we pass on what we've learned, What it means to finish strong, even if you're not first. Would you like this converted into a YouTube video voiceover script in English or Urdu? Or want slides with quotes and visual scene cues for each theme? Legacy and redemption. The film's central theme is Sonny Hayes' Brad Pitt journey to reconcile with his past. Sonny's early crash and withdrawal from F1 left him a greatest that never was, haunted by what he could have achieved. Formula1.com. +15. Corp.formula1.com. +15. en.wikipedia.org. +15. His return isn't driven by fame but by the need to reclaim purpose and prove his worth, completing a full redemption arc. Impact. The audience is drawn into Sonny's internal battle, feeling the weight of his regrets and the triumph of his emotional reconciliation. Counterclockwise arrows 2. Mentorship and mutual growth. Sonny and Joshua Pierce, Damson Idris, embody a narrative of reciprocal mentoring. Joshua, a talented but reckless rookie, learns discipline and emotional balance under Sonny's guidance. Simultaneously, Sonny rediscovers meaning and heals through teaching, a transformative mentorship that benefits both. Impact. Their evolving bond becomes the emotional spine of the story, reinforcing that teaching can be as powerful as learning. Seedling 3. Reinvention and second acts. Sonny's comeback mirrors the idea that reinvention is always possible. He must adapt from being a top racer to being a guide, accepting age isn't the end, but an opportunity for evolution. TheHindu.com. +14. Moldaville.net. +14. AgeOfTheNerd.com. +14. Other characters undergo subtle rebirths. Crew members step into new roles. Young racers grow up fast. Impact. This theme inspires belief in resilience and the value of new beginnings, regardless of the stage in life. Scales #4. The cost of greatness. F1 portrays the physical and psychological toll of elite competition. Lewis Hamilton's input emphasizes that drivers are true athletes, stripped physically and mentally during races. TheHindu.com. +15. Reuters.com. +15. Wokewaves.com. +15. Crashes are filmed not as pure spectacle, but as hallmarks of real danger and risk. Impact. Audiences gain a profound respect for the grit and vulnerability behind the glamour. Globe showing Europe Africa 5. Identity beyond the helmet. The film wrestles with defining identity outside professional roles. For Sonny, who is he if not a racer? For Joshua, is he still just a talented speedster, or something deeper? Quiet moments, conversations in the garage, pre-race silence, underline that self-worth lies beyond accolades. Impact. These intimate scenes anchor the story in relatable human struggles. Globe with Meridians 6. Diversity and inclusivity. F1 subtly advocates for representation and inclusion. Joshua's presence as a successful black driver across from Sonny's veteran white shades inclusivity without making it preachy. The team's diverse makeup and behind-the-scenes cast reflect F1's modern global ethos. Timeout.fr. +13. Time.com. +13. apnews.com. +13. Corp.formula1.com. +4. Boxofficehype.com. +4. AgeOfTheNerd.com. +4. Moldaville.net. Impact. The film sends an aspirational message. High-performance fields are becoming more accessible and varied. 7. Perseverance and resilience. Finally, F1 champions the relentless pursuit of excellence. It conveys that success is not about being perfect. It's about rising after the fall. Joshua's title-ready moment, Sonny's renewed fire, and team resilience show that greatness emerges from struggle. Impact. It offers catharsis, a triumphant affirmation that perseverance pays. White-heavy checkmark. Are these themes effective? Absolutely. They feel lived in, not tacked on, embedded in character arcs, conflict, cinematography, and even musical motifs. The mentorship theme peaks in the final race. Identity and legacy threads run through every emotional beat. Audiences will leave not just entertained, but inspired and introspective. Bullseye enduring takeaways. Legacy isn't static, it can be reclaimed. Mentoring someone else can be your own therapy. Pain, failure, and sacrifice build the foundation for growth. True identity lies beyond what you do. Inclusivity brings genuine richness to elite spaces. Hyperreal visual language. Director Joseph Kosinski, known for his visual mastery in Top Gun, Maverick and Tron, Legacy, brings his signature style of combining IMAX-level cinematography with realistic CGI enhancements. In F1, He works closely with Oscar-winning cinematographer Claudio Miranda to create a visually grounded world, where CGI serves to augment, not replace, reality. In-car racing sequences are filmed with real modified F2 cars driven by stunt professionals, including Brad Pitt in many shots, using 8K crash-proof cameras rigged directly onto the vehicles. CGI is used to seamlessly replace the cars' bodies with authentic F1 chassis and team liveries, simulate high-speed collisions, tire wear, debris dispersion, and complex trackside environments. Pushpin effectiveness. Viewers are drawn into a world where it's nearly impossible to distinguish between what's real and what's digitally enhanced, a hallmark of mature, invisible VFX. Hammer and wrench #2. Practical versus digital balance. The film excels in maintaining a practical-first philosophy. Real racing footage is used extensively, especially during training sequences and qualifying laps, preserving the kinetic energy of real-world physics. CGI kicks in primarily during impossible camera angles, like tire-level tracking shots at 200 miles per hour, multi-car collisions, or wide aerials of fully populated Grand Prix circuits. In contrast to heavily digital racing movies like Speed Racer or Need for Speed, F1 mimics the documentary realism of actual F1 coverage, complete with screen overlays, telemetry visuals, and in-helmet perspectives. Scales #comparison. Practical effects serve as the base layer. CGI never overwhelms. It completes the picture by filling in what can't be captured practically. Video Game 3. Photorealistic CGI execution. The VFX team, rumored to include talent from DNEG and ILM, deliver incredibly detailed digital recreations of Grand Prix circuits. Monza, Silverstone, Spa, and fictional APX-GP tracks are recreated with weather dynamics, crowd simulations, and lighting changes that respond to race events in real time. Crashes and slow-motion debris. CGI is used in microsecond moments to capture tire shreds, carbon fiber rupture, and safety foam deployment, without breaking immersion. Helmet HUDs and car telemetry. Advanced AR-style graphics appear in visor views to show strategy, team radio, and mental focus, elevating tension and viewer understanding. Electric light bulb highlight. One key sequence features a slow-motion crash during a stormlit night race, blending practical rain machines, strobe lighting, and digital wreckage to stunning cinematic effect. No sign 4. Avoiding CGI overuse. Crucially, F1 resists the Hollywood temptation to exaggerate. There are no physics-defying jumps, no gravity-breaking drifts, or impossible maneuvers a la Fast and Furious. Every digital moment is grounded in how an actual F1 car moves, crashes, or overtakes, thanks to consultation from real F1 engineers and drivers, including co-producer Lewis Hamilton. Bullseye audience reaction. This grounded approach enhances credibility and keeps viewers emotionally tethered to the characters and their stakes, rather than distracted by visual gimmicks. Artist palette 5. Cinematic aesthetic through effects. Visual effects in F1 also serve a mood-setting purpose. CGI-enhanced reflections in car bodies during sunset races create poetic imagery. Weather effects, fog, dusk flares, rain mist, evoke thematic states, confusion, urgency, clarity. The final race scene uses seamless CGI blending to transition from roaring tension to complete silence, slow motion, and a heart-wrenching crash, one of the most emotionally intense moments in the film. Glowing star result. The VFX aren't just technical, they're emotional amplifiers, guiding the viewer's adrenaline and empathy. White heavy checkmark conclusion. From a third-person viewpoint, F1, 2025, sets a new benchmark for visual storytelling in sports dramas. It blends high-fidelity practical effects with state-of-the-art CGI so naturally that audiences often forget they are watching enhanced footage. The result is a film that feels like you're on the track, not watching a simulation of one. The film doesn't just show racing. It makes you feel every vibration, tension, collision, and triumph through invisible, effective, and emotionally-driven visual effects. Would you like this section converted into an English YouTube script, an Urdu voiceover, or want a comparison chart with similar racing movies like Rush or Ford v Ferrari? Practical effects, the core of realism. True race cars, real speeds, using modified F2 chassis with F1 aerodynamics, up to 250 km per hour per 155 miles per hour, Brad Pitt and Damson Idris drove during actual Grand Prix weekends at circuits like Silverstone and Spa. Reddit.com. +11. Formula1.com. +11. en.wikipedia.org. +11. This delivers genuine vibrations, wind flow, and engine roar, moments that cannot be spoofed digitally. Cockpit camera rigs. 7 Sony 6K or Top Gun-derived compact cameras, mounted intrusively within the cockpit, were remotely pan or tilt operated, broadcast style, so cinematographer Claudio Miranda could capture racing intensity in creative angles. ymcinema.com. +1. ymcinema.com. +1. Live broadcast integration. The film crew was embedded during live weekends, capturing real crowds, paddle-to-pit action, and atmosphere, boosting authenticity beyond any VFX department. Film #CGI and VFX, enhancing, not dominating. Subtle CGI overlays. Framestore, ILM, and VFX supervisor Ryan Tudhep digitized F2 bodies into F1 designs, seamlessly blending aerodynamic details and sponsored decals via CG, undetectable to viewers. ymcinema.com. en.wikipedia.org. +1. vfxexpress.com. +1. Crash enhancement. Real collisions are captured, then enhanced. Flying debris, shattered carbon fiber, super-slow smoke, and particle effects, all inserted subtly over grounded practical footage to amplify realism. Environment and atmosphere. Packed grandstands, TV tickers, sky textures, rain, tire smoke, CG supports but never overshadows. The whole aesthetic retains documentary razor sharpness. Postperspective.com. Scales #practical versus CGI, a balanced blend. This production exemplifies practical first, digital support. Live action is the foundation, actors driving real cars, on real tracks, in real conditions. CGI fills gaps, livery replacement, riskier camera angles, enhanced crashes or trackside visuals. Final compositing, expert multiscreen stitching to maintain consistent lighting, reflections, and visual coherence. There's no spectacle overkill. The film avoids unrealistic stunts, e.g., no gravity-defying crashes, no stylized jumps. Instead, it delivers what F1 is actually like: raw, dangerous, precise. Left-pointing magnifying glass technological mastery. On-car camera systems, built from Sony Venice Rialto tech, miniaturized to withstand 200+ miles/hour racing forces. Fully motorized PTZ rigs wirelessly linked to remote operators at base stations. NodeReactor.com. +2. Formula1.com. +2. Reuters.com. +2. Reddit.com. ymcinema.com. Data telemetry integration. CGI adds in helmet HUD overlays, shot in sync with race dynamics, speed, gear, radio chatter, synchronizing visual VFX with narrative tension. VFX pipeline. Framestore and ILM seasoned teams merge practical footage with Maya, Houdini, Nuke, Clarice-based assets, ensuring minute detail, wet tracks, dust, heat bloom, trackside movement. Fog visual experience, immersion and emotional impact. Inside the cockpit, razor-sharp clarity, authentic vibration, mirrored reflections, all tied to aggressive cinematography. Viewers feel like they are driving. Weather realism, rain droplets on visors, mist over cold tires, steam in takeoffs, practical water plus CGI enhancements meld into palpable atmosphere. Crash depictions. Instead of Hollywood exaggeration, crashes are sudden, silent, then chaotic, with disorientation. The digital slow-mo enhances emotional tone without flashy stylization. Bullseye why it works. Credibility. Audiences accept what feels utterly real. Even seasoned F1 fans can't spot the CGI. Emotional resonance. VFX amplify, not distract from, the characters' journeys by supporting narrative stakes, e.g., crashes feel like trauma. Visual subtlety. Digital effects are carefully baked into the image. There's no CG lens. Every effect is motivated and grounded. White-heavy checkmark summary. From a cinematic viewpoint, F1 2025 raises the bar for sports dramas through VFX that serves story and truth. It demonstrates how modern techniques, sophisticated camera systems, digital livery swaps, micro-CGI crash augmentation, can blend with genuine race footage to craft an immersive, visceral experience. The result is not just a movie about racing. It feels like racing, emotionally and physically. Interested in a comparison chart with films like Rush and Ford v Ferrari, or ready-to-script YouTube narration in English or Urdu? Authentic F1 circuits, racing at the source. One of the defining features of F1 2025 is its on-location shooting at actual Formula One Grand Prix venues. This isn't merely clever production. It's essential to the film's emotional and narrative impact. Filming occurred live during real F1 weekends at iconic tracks such as Silverstone, UK, Hungaroring, Hungary, Spa-Francorchamps, Belgium, Circuit of the Americas, USA. Real F1 fans, paddocks, and pit crews appear in the background, giving the settings genuine scale, motion, and atmosphere. The fictional team APXGP races alongside real teams, Ferrari, Red Bull, Mercedes, etc. And thanks to clever visual effects and physical signage, it never feels out of place. Round pushpin result, the film grounds itself in reality. Audiences aren't just watching a dramatized version of racing. They feel like they've stepped into an actual F1 paddock. Hammer and wrench production design, blending fiction with reality. The fictional APXGP team garage is a key example of masterful production design. The set designers recreated a fully functional pit environment, modeled after modern F1 team setups, complete with telemetry stations with real-time data readouts, tool cabinets, tire warmers, carbon fiber body panels, and team branding, driver lockers, pre-race briefings rooms. The level of detail even extended to custom race suits, team merchandise, and technical manuals, creating an illusion that APXGP has always been part of the F1 world. Checkered flag design choice. All props and set pieces look used, not showroom new, implying a long racing season in progress. The grime, wear, and oil stains enhance believability. Cityscape behind the track, humanizing spaces. The film doesn't just stay at the track, it also explores the human spaces behind the sport, contributing emotional and thematic depth. Locations include team headquarters, a modern tech facility that visually echoes McLaren or Mercedes HQs, showing research labs, simulators, and boardrooms, used to highlight pressure from sponsors and management. Driver's personal space. Brad Pitt's character Sonny Hayes lives in a quiet lakeside house, rich in nostalgia and decorated with old racing posters, helmets, and trophies. These scenes add vulnerability and a sense of legacy. Team motorhomes and paddock zones. Interiors are rich with tension, wood finishes, metallic surfaces, narrow corridors reflecting the claustrophobia and intensity of pre-race hours. Performing arts emotional impact. These spaces help externalize the character's mental states, calm, chaos, burnout, ambition, through production design. Checkered flag visual consistency and brand integration. The consistency in set design across circuits and global locations is a major technical achievement. Despite filming on 4 continents, the APXGP brand presence remains visually uniform. Team colors, flags, and pit signage feel globally integrated. Branding for fictional sponsors, a mix of real and invented, is applied across track barriers, pit walls, interview backdrops, and cars. Each circuit has its own color palette and lighting scheme. Silverstone is cool-toned and crisp. Spa is overcast and dramatic. COTA is golden-hued and harsh. This design strategy enhances the film's narrative beats, e.g., triumph, loss, recovery. Globe with Meridian's conclusion. Locations are not static backgrounds. They reflect mood, geography, and narrative progression. Whiteheavy checkmark summary. In F1, 2025, set design and location work function on multiple levels, visually, emotionally, and narratively. The decision to shoot on real tracks and integrate the fictional world into authentic F1 environments gives the film a Verite-style credibility. Meanwhile, the production design behind the scenes, from pit garages to personal spaces, supports character development and storytelling with nuance and detail. Through thoughtful craftsmanship, F1 builds a world that feels tangible, intense, and fully alive, one that honors the real-world spectacle of Formula One while telling an intimate story of legacy, mentorship, and high-stakes competition. Would you like this turned into a YouTube-style voiceover script or a comparison to similar sports movies like Rush, Ford v Ferrari, or Days of Thunder? Live circuit locations and immersive presence. Filmed during actual Grand Prix weekends at iconic venues, Silverstone, Spa, Monza, Hungaroring, Zandvoort, Suzuka, Las Vegas, Abu Dhabi, and Mexico City, F1 places its fictional APXGP team in the heart of real-world racing culture. Wired.com. +15. Motor1.com. +15. Time.com. +15. The filmmakers built a fully operational APXGP garage, complete with branded barriers, pit walls, timing screens, and hospitality units, positioned alongside real teams like Mercedes and Ferrari. Reddit.com. +6. Racer.com. +6. The-race.com. +6. Filming took place in extremely tight windows during live paddock activity, shooting scenes on the grid and amid crowds to preserve raw energy and ambience. F1-race.com. +1. Motor1.com. +1. Impact. The settings feel inherently authentic, grounding the story in a visually and emotionally credible F1 world. Hammer and Wrench #2. APXGP Garage, a fictional reality. The APXGP pit and team headquarters were built with meticulous attention to detail: telemetry walls, engineer desks, tool trolleys, carbon fiber spares, driver lockers, designed to be indistinguishable from real F1 team spaces. fr.wikipedia.org. +15. Crash.net. +15. Planetsport.com. +15. Every element, from team overalls and crew hats to wet patches and oil stains, was crafted to convey history and purpose, not just stage perfection. Emotional layer. These physical spaces reflect the guts and grit of competition and frame the characters within their working environment, reinforcing stakes and realism. Sunrise over Mountains 3. Off-track locations, character context. Sonny's lakeside home, a reflective, nostalgia-steeped retreat adorned with trophies, old racing posters, and faded memorabilia. It visually communicates solitude, memory, and emotional distance. Team motorhomes and meeting rooms, crafted to feel lived in, with grain surfaces, tech-filled conference rooms, personal zones. These add emotional texture to character relationships and vulnerability. 600+ other paddock zones. Scenes unfold across hospitality suites, media centers, and spectators' areas, designed to humanize the competitive spectacle. Narrative role. These quieter spaces offer a counterpoint to the roar of the track, where characters breathe, reckon, and connect. Checkered flag 4. Geographical and design consistency. Across 9 global circuits, APXGP branding, color palettes, and props maintain visual consistency, reinforcing that it's a cohesive, world-traveling team. Each location is subtly tailored. Spa's overcast drama, Las Vegas' bright neon, Monza's golden openness. These reflect narrative beats and emotional shifts. Motor1.com. +3. Crash.net. +3. Motorsportmagazine.com. +3. Effect. Scene settings become a visual shorthand for mood, tension, and progression. Bullseye 5. Technical collaboration and prop realism. Mercedes and Carlin Motorsport collaborated to create modified F2 chassis, equipped with F1-style bodywork and integrated camera rigs, components featured in intimate visual detail. Motorsport.com. +4. Motorsportmagazine.com. +4. Racer.com. +4. Support from Toto Wolff-insured garages, pit walls, team flow were authentic, even better than some real ones, according to insiders. Motorsportmagazine.com. +5. Pitpass.com. +5. The-race.com. +5. Result. The props and sets aren't mere facades. They're informed by real-world function and purpose. Glowing Star 6. Believable fiction within reality. APXGP's presence sparked actual fan engagement. Spectators wore their merch, stars from real teams interacted with the cast, and journalists snapped photos. Motor1.com. +15. RaceSundays.com. +15. Racer.com. +15. In one notable case, Simone Ashley's subplot was filmed within this context, only to be cut in editing, showcasing how production design allowed flexibility for story shifts. nypost.com. Audience experience. It becomes difficult for viewers to know where fiction ends and reality begins, enhancing immersion and emotional payoff. Whiteheaver checkmark conclusion. A world you can feel. F1 2025 achieves immersive world building through a strategic blend of authentic circuit filming with dynamic real-world noise and scale, comprehensive fictional design that integrates seamlessly into live environments, character-driven settings that reveal internal states, collaborations with real teams and technical experts to ground every visual element. This layered approach ensures the film doesn't just show racing. It makes the audience feel inside it, from the pit crew's hush before a launch to the personal reflections that happen away from the track. Naturalism rooted in real motorsport culture. One of the script's greatest achievements is its use of authentic motorsport jargon. Terms like understeer, delta gap, race trim, push window, and undercut strategy are embedded naturally into conversations. These aren't forced explanations but part of the natural rhythm of paddock dialogue. This realism is enhanced by input from real F1 consultants, including Lewis Hamilton, who co-produced the film and helped shape dialogue to reflect the actual tone of team radios, debriefs, and driver conversations. Team meetings and pit wall exchanges echo the tension of a real race weekend, short, sharp, and full of subtext. Pushpin impact. Viewers unfamiliar with racing aren't alienated, because the script smartly infers context, while fans will appreciate the technical authenticity. Performing arts too. Emotional and character-driven exchanges. Beyond race day chatter, the script includes intimate, layered moments between key characters, especially between Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, a retired, once-disgraced driver returning for one final run. Joshua Pierce, Damson Idris, a young prodigy with untapped potential. Riley, Kerry Condon, the sharp-minded, emotionally grounded team principal. These characters share emotionally resonant dialogue that often carries double meaning. Words about racing that are really about life, loss, or self-worth. Example, not exact quote but tone accurate. Sonny, to Joshua. You don't drive the car, kid. You drive the fear out of it. Such lines are rich with thematic resonance, about risk, courage, and mental clarity under pressure. 3. Mentorship and generational themes in writing. The dynamic between Sonny and Joshua is reflected in carefully written exchanges where Sonny's grizzled wisdom is met with Joshua's youthful frustration. Their dialogue evolves. At first, competitive and guarded. Later, supportive, instructive, and filled with mutual respect. This arc is not over-explained but conveyed through subtle shifts in speech tone, vocabulary, and timing. Bullseye result. The audience feels the relationship change naturally, not through exposition, but through spoken word and silence between words. Fire 4. Standout lines and symbolic moments. The script includes a few memorable lines that anchor the film's emotional weight, especially during pivotal races or private moments of reflection. These lines serve as thematic touchstones, similar to classic sports films. For example, you're not just chasing the checkered flag, you're chasing who you used to be. There's a fine line between speed and self-destruction. These lines are delivered not with melodrama, but with quiet gravity, enhancing their impact. Stopwatch #5. Script rhythm, balance of tension and humanity. The screenplay's pacing alternates between rapid-fire urgency and contemplative stillness, especially in the final act. Race day sequences feature clipped, tense exchanges between engineers, drivers, and strategists. Off-track scenes are more spacious and human. Pauses, hesitations, and unspoken tension are just as expressive as dialogue itself. Memo observation. The screenwriters avoid excessive voiceovers or exposition. The audience is expected to read between the lines, making the script feel intelligent and emotionally engaging. 6. Screenplay structure and style. The overall screenplay adheres to a conventional 3-act structure, but incorporates modern cinematic dialogue techniques. Show-don't-tell writing. Understated delivery of emotionally heavy lines. Micro-conflicts in everyday moments, like choosing tires or who gets team priority. This gives the film constant narrative momentum without ever feeling overwritten. White heavy checkmark final verdict. From a third-person perspective, F1, 2025. Script succeeds on multiple levels. It blends racing authenticity with human vulnerability. It avoids cliches while embracing genre expectations, mentor-mentee, underdog triumph, moral dilemmas. It features quotable lines that resonate beyond the screen. The dialogue doesn't shout its importance. It whispers it with precision and confidence. That restraint makes it all the more powerful. Would you like this turned into a scripted narration, or do you want a comparison with similar sports film dialogues, like Rush, Ford v Ferrari, or Creed? Authentic motorsport vernacular. The screenplay, shaped significantly by Lewis Hamilton and screenwriter Aaron Kruger, packs realistic F1 jargon into everyday exchanges. Terms like undercut, delta, and push window appear naturally in team pit wall strategy sessions and driver radio chatter, never feeling forced. Time.com. +15. SI.com. +15. Formula1.com. +15. Hamilton's direct involvement, calling bullshit on any inaccurate racing scenario, ensures drivers don't speak or behave like amateurs, enhancing the film's credibility. Performing arts too. Subtext-rich character moments. The script delivers emotionally potent lines that double as metaphors for deeper internal struggles. For instance, you're not just chasing the checkered flag, you're chasing who you used to be. Such dialogue resonates on 2 levels, racing strategy and personal redemption. These thematic lines aren't delivered with heavy-handedness. They emerge organically in scenes like Sonny's advice to Joshua or quiet reflections after a crash. That subtlety makes them emotionally memorable. Handshake 3. Evolution of mentor-protege voice. Dialogue between Sonny, Brad Pitt, and Joshua, Damson Idris, evolves alongside their relationship. In the beginning, the tone is curt and competitive, sharp retorts, clipped discussions about technique. By the midpoint, the tone softens. Joshua begins to ask for guidance, expressing vulnerability. By the finale, they speak like partners, using shorthand and mutual respect, each line hinting at shared history and connection. This progression is threaded through small dialogue beats, repeated phrases, echoing advice, and shows growth rather than stating it. Chart with downward trend 4. Impactful and memorable one-liners. The film features several standout lines that encapsulate its emotional core. You don't drive the car, kid. You drive the fear out of it. Spoken by Sonny, this line doubles as technical advice and emotional healing. There's a fine line between speed and self-destruction. Our adds thematic weight at dangerous low points. Some of us chase checkered flags. Others chase ghosts. A reflective line that defines Sonny's redemption arc. None feel shoehorned. They are earned through context and aligned with character moments. Stopwatch #5. Rhythmic script flow and subtle tension. Race day pacing. Dialogue mirrors broadcast commentary. Short, urgent, strategic. Engineers, team principles, and drivers speak in dynamic bursts, building kinetic energy. Off-track pacing. Slower, introspective. Scenes in the garage or lounges include deliberate pauses, muted responses, and pregnant silences, making quiet moments feel weighty. This contrast keeps scenes fluid yet emotionally layered. Left-pointing magnifying glass 6. Naturalistic dialogue, not exposition. The script avoids quick info dumps. New fans grasp mechanics through context, not explanations. Conversations are grounded. Crew members joke or vent frustration. Journalists interrogate quietly. Strategists crunch numbers with emotional investment. Intimate lines, like those between Sonny and Joshua, carry emotional power without monologuing. This restraint ensures memorable moments pop, but the script never feels contrived. White have a checkmark final analysis. From a third-person perspective, F1, 2025, delivers a smart screenplay that feels lived in, authentic to the sport, deeply human, and emotionally resonant. The writing is technical without being dense, layered without being opaque, and powerful without being preachy. Bullseye core strengths. Dialogue grounded in real F1 culture and verified by professionals. Emotional lines that emerge naturally from character arcs. Evolving tone between characters, reflecting their relational growth. Just the right rhythm, fast when it should be, reflective when it matters. Would you like this transformed into a short voiceover script for YouTube? Or would you prefer a scene-by-scene dialogue breakdown comparing to films like Rush or Ford v Ferrari? Genre foundation. Sports drama meets high-octane realism. At its core, F1 operates within the sports drama framework, complete with familiar narrative beats. A comeback story, Sonny Hayes, a retired F1 driver. A mentorship arc, Sonny guiding young racer Joshua Pierce. High-stakes competition. Personal demons and redemption. But what sets F1, 2025, apart is how it executes these genre conventions with grounded authenticity, driven by real-world racing knowledge and emotional sophistication. Hammer and wrench subversion of genre tropes. While the film pays homage to classic racing films, it subtly subverts several genre cliches. Counterclockwise arrows 1. The glory at all costs trope. Rather than glorifying reckless courage, F1 explores the psychological cost of competition. Sonny Hayes isn't driven by ego or vengeance. His return to racing is a quiet reckoning with legacy, not a triumphant revenge arc. Counterclockwise arrows 2. The one-dimensional rival. There's no singular villain driver who personifies evil or arrogance. Instead, rival teams and drivers are humanized, often shown through glimpses of teamwork, respect, or even doubt. This grounds the story in realism rather than melodrama. Counterclockwise arrows 3. The predictable climactic race. While the final race is thrilling, it doesn't hinge on a conventional win-or-lose scenario. The emotional payoff comes not from who finishes first, but from what the characters prove to themselves, a more mature narrative resolution. Fresh ideas within a familiar genre. The film introduces several fresh layers to the genre. 1. Behind-the-scenes complexity. Rather than only focusing on the drivers, F1 dives deeply into team strategy meetings, pit crew dynamics, telemetry analysis, Media pressure and sponsor obligations. This reflects a modern view of motorsport, where split-second decisions by engineers or data analysts can define a season. Globe showing Europe-Africa 2. A global, inclusive lens. The cast reflects modern Formula One's global diversity, with drivers, engineers, and strategists from a wide range of backgrounds. The film avoids the Eurocentric bias of past racing movies and embraces the international nature of the sport. High-voltage sign balancing action, suspense, humor, and drama. From a structural point of view, the film balances multiple genre elements with precision. Checkered flag action. Race scenes are visceral and immersive, largely shot with real cars and real tracks. High-speed sequences rely less on CGI and more on camera placement, sound design, and kinetic editing, creating realistic tension. Face screaming in fear suspense. Tension builds not only during races, but also in boardroom decisions, contract politics, and mid-race strategy calls. Moments like changing weather mid-lap or a faulty radio system create nerve-wracking stakes without over-reliance on dramatics. Performing arts drama. Character arcs are built around trauma, healing, and human connection. Emotional depth is especially present in Sonny's regrets, Joshua's insecurity, and Riley's struggle to keep the team afloat. Faced with tears of joy humor. Sprinkled throughout are character-based jokes, often stemming from team banter, cultural clashes in the paddock, or dry humor from engineers. Humor never undercuts drama. It simply humanizes the cast, making them feel like real people in a high-pressure world. Genre evolution, a new gold standard? From a genre analysis standpoint, F1, 2025, doesn't reinvent the wheel. It tightens every bolt and retools the engine. It acknowledges the emotional arcs that make sports films enduring but pushes past surface-level cliches with grounded, respectful storytelling. For racing fans, it's technically astute, accurate, and exciting. For general audiences, it's emotionally resonant, visually arresting, and character-driven. White heavy checkmark final verdict. From a third-person perspective, F1, 2025, is an exemplary genre film that executes familiar tropes with mastery while introducing just enough innovation and introspection to feel fresh and compelling. It honors the sports drama lineage while elevating the genre into a more authentic and emotionally satisfying experience. Familiar framework, elevated execution. The film follows the classics, comeback arc, mentor-protege progression, high-stakes finale, similar to Rush and Ford v Ferrari. EW.com. +15. Frontstretch.com. +15. ScreenRant.com. +15. However, its execution is more refined. Instead of melodrama, its emotional core centers on legacy and quiet redemption, not ego-driven triumph. Counterclockwise arrows 2. Subverting genre tropes. A no must-win finale. The climax focuses on personal breakthroughs, not just race results. Redemption lies in character growth, not podium placement. A no caricatured villains, rivals and executives aren't melodramatic antagonists. They are nuanced figures, lending realism over cliché. Authenticity first, actual race speeds, coach-driven training, and genuine engineering insight amplify immersion. SI.com. GQ.com. +4. TheVarsity.ca. +4. SwaggerMagazine.com. +4. Seedling 3. Fresh signatures. A team-centric storytelling, riveting boardroom strategies, pit wall tensions, and telemetry analysis inject modern complexity. Global inclusivity reflects Formula One's diversity. Mentor Sonny is an older white male. Joshua is a black rookie, supported by a mixed team, mirroring real-world evolution. SI.com. +9. EW.com. +9. Reddit.com. +9. People.com. +1. GQ.com. +1. A informal drama, private spaces, Sonny's lakeside retreat, paddock tents, add emotional texture beyond the racetrack. High voltage sign 4. Multidimensional tone. Element execution in F1, 2025. Action real race footage with minimal CGI, visceral, immersive sequences. TheTimes.co.uk. +1. SwaggerMagazine.com. +1. Suspense tension not just from racing, but from sponsorship deals, strategies, tech failures. Drama emotional through mentorship, inner demons, identity crises. Humor low-key banter grounded in personality and context, not slapstick. This blend makes F1 appealing to both genre fans and general audiences. Books 5. Comparative genre perspective. Rush, 2013 focused on rivalry and adrenaline, one-dimensional heroes. en.wikipedia.org. Thegame-1mega.com. +7. str@logan.medium.com. +7. en.wikipedia.org. +7. Ford v Ferrari, 2019 more corporate and comedic, with more villainized subplots. pcgamer.com. +15. screenrant.com. +15. en.wikipedia.org. +15. F1, 2025 hits the sweet spot. Sports drama with introspection and collaborative nuance. White have a checkmark conclusion. From a third-person viewpoint, F1, 2025 meets genre expectations, comeback a mentor trope, action climax, while subverting common pitfalls, no faceless villain, no formulaic glory. The film introduces fresh depth, strategy-driven drama, character evolution, and realistic tonality, making it a genre-refined, emotionally mature sports film. Would you like this presented as a comparative table between F1, Rush, Ford v Ferrari, and Days of Thunder, or reformatted into your YouTube voiceover script? Diversity, representation, and race. One of the film's strongest cultural statements comes through its diverse cast and character arcs, most notably the character of Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris, a rising black F1 driver. His narrative doesn't solely center on racial identity, but it acknowledges the unspoken challenges faced by minority athletes in traditionally white-dominated sports like Formula One. Microaggressions and institutional resistance. Through subtle moments, hesitations in boardroom support, media overanalysis, or comparisons to other drivers, the film highlights the underlying bias often experienced by drivers of color, without turning it into a central conflict. Mentorship and legacy. The relationship between Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, and Joshua is not only about racing but also about breaking generational ceilings, suggesting how mentorship can pave the way for inclusive evolution in elite sports. This commentary feels natural, embedded in their character development rather than shoehorned dialogue or symbolic gestures. Racing Car #2. Corporate power versus passion for racing. The film takes a clear yet nuanced look at how modern motorsport has become entangled with corporate interests. Media exploitation. Joshua's image is commodified by sponsors, and Sonny's return becomes more of a branding stunt in the eyes of executives than a personal redemption arc. These tensions highlight how authentic passion often clashes with media packaging and brand control. Sponsorship politics. Certain scenes show strategy meetings where performance isn't the only concern. Sponsorship optics and market appeal dictate many decisions, subtly critiquing how sports are no longer just about winning, but about selling. This layer adds realism and speaks to how modern athletes are often products as much as performers, a dilemma shared across professional sports today. Generational divide and mental health. A quieter but deeply resonant commentary lies in the intergenerational conflict between Sonny and Joshua, as well as Sonny and the corporate world he once left. Old versus new. Sonny's analog, instinctual approach is contrasted with the new data-driven, calculated world of F1. This mirrors real-world tension between old-school experience and modern analytical precision. Mental well-being in sports. Sonny's initial withdrawal from racing is tied to past trauma and disillusionment, a theme that explores the psychological cost of constant performance. The film avoids melodrama but portrays mental burnout and healing with sensitivity, aligning with the current era's increased openness about athlete mental health. Movie Camera 4. Media, spectacle, and the human behind the helmet. The film critiques the modern obsession with turning everything into spectacle. Media interviews, press pressures, social media buzz. These are shown to distort or sensationalize the true essence of the sport. Joshua is frequently misrepresented by headline-hungry journalists, echoing the real-life scrutiny faced by public figures like Lewis Hamilton or Naomi Osaka. The filmmakers use this lens to explore how media distorts both athlete identity and viewer expectations, urging audiences to see the person behind the persona. Scales #5. Sensitive themes handled with balance. Rather than loudly declaring its messages, F1, 2025, trusts the audience's intelligence. Racism is implied through interactions, not stated. Mental health is suggested via silence, isolation, and reaction, not long monologues. Commercial politics unfold through executive actions, not villain speeches. This restrained, mature approach ensures that the social and cultural messages enhance the realism and depth of the film without overwhelming the personal stakes and character arcs. White have a checkmark final assessment. From a third-person perspective, F1, 2025 successfully integrates relevant social and cultural themes, from diversity and representation to mental health, media spectacle, and corporate interference in sports. These elements don't feel forced. Rather, they enrich the film's emotional and narrative layers, making it more than just an adrenaline-filled racing movie. It becomes a thoughtful, timely portrait of what it means to be an athlete in today's world, respected, commodified, scrutinized, and above all, human. Would you like this transformed into a voiceover script for your next YouTube video or broken into short segments for a visual infographic format? Race, identity, and representation in motorsport. Right-pointing magnifying glass subtle integration. Unlike overtly political sports dramas, F1, 2025 uses character-driven storytelling to reflect on systemic issues, particularly the underrepresentation of black drivers in Formula One. The casting of Damson Idris as Joshua Pierce is not tokenistic. Rather, his narrative is informed by the pressures, expectations, and coded bias often faced by real-life pioneers in elite sports, e.g., Lewis Hamilton. Pushpin key scene examples. A scene where a sponsor suggests Joshua tone down his personal brand to appeal to traditional fans implies cultural erasure masked as marketing strategy. In the paddock, subtle camera glances and dismissive remarks from rival teams underline the outsider gaze he experiences, not for lack of talent, but for being different. Sonny Hayes defending Joshua during a press ambush mirrors real-world moments where mentors or allies use privilege to create space for marginalized voices. These dynamics create a realistic portrayal of racial tension without exploitation, and the film refuses to reduce Joshua's identity to victimhood. Instead, he emerges as confident, resilient, and multidimensional. Briefcase 2. Corporate influence and capitalism in sports. The film critiques the commodification of talent and how corporate interests dictate not only team decisions but also public perception of athletes. Cultural commentary. The film's fictional team, APXGP, is funded by high-tech investors focused more on branding reach than racecraft, mirroring current real-life trends like tech giants investing in teams for visibility. The script subtly skewers the Netflixization of F1, with executives staging moments for cameras or manipulating drama for social media engagement. Pushpin key visuals. Boardroom scenes show Joshua's performance reduced to metrics, followers, and demographics, not lap times or grit. A press team crafting narratives around Sonny's return, even scripting emotional lines, questions how authentic comebacks are manufactured for public consumption. This offers a piercing look at how modern sport increasingly blurs the line between competition and content creation. 3. Mental health and performance pressure. Mental strain, particularly among male athletes, is one of the film's most resonant undercurrents. Counterclockwise arrows from burnout to healing. Sonny Hayes' initial exit from F1 is framed through flashbacks showing not just physical accidents, but psychological withdrawal, suggesting PTSD-like symptoms, shame, and unresolved grief. Joshua, meanwhile, internalizes perfectionism, and his character arc includes an emotional breakdown seen in a silent locker room, a moment of intimate vulnerability rarely shown in sports films. Speech balloon cultural message. The film encourages discourse on the emotional cost of fame, particularly how stoic resilience is mistakenly expected from male athletes. This aligns with broader cultural shifts, as seen with stars like Simone Biles or Virat Kohli publicly discussing mental health. Newspaper 4. Media and image construction. The media plays a dual role, as a narrative antagonist and a mirror to public expectations. Layers of commentary. Media outlets spin stories out of context, e.g., Joshua's assertiveness is labeled as arrogance, while Sonny's recklessness is reframed as passion, subtly exposing racial double standards. A subplot shows how Sonny's return is more about viewership spikes than his readiness, reflecting how human narratives are curated to fit agendas. The film critiques instant news culture, questioning whether public figures are ever allowed to own their own story in a content-saturated world. #Girl5. Intergenerational dialogue and changing norms. The dynamic between Sonny and Joshua symbolizes a larger cultural shift from tradition to innovation, and from rugged individualism to team-oriented ethics. Pushpin subtext. Sonny represents the old F1, where driving on instinct was revered and mental health was taboo. Joshua embodies the new F1, technological mastery, emotional openness, media savvy. But even he is at odds with a system that treats him as both star and product. Through their growing bond, the film champions mutual respect, where old wisdom and modern values coalesce to shape a more ethical and inclusive future. Scales Final Deep Dive Reflection. From a third-person perspective, F1, 2025, isn't merely a film about fast cars and underdog glory. It's a reflection of 21st century sport as a cultural battleground. Through its deft scripting, grounded performances, and real-world inspired conflicts, the film addresses racial representation without exploitation, corporate overreach without moralizing, athlete mental health without melodrama, media spectacle without cynicism, intergenerational tension without judgment. Each theme is delivered not in isolation, but as interwoven narrative strands, making the movie as much about people and systems as it is about racing. Would you like a summarized version of this in bullet points for narration, a visual script layout for your video, or a comparative chart with other sports films like Creed, Rush, or King Richard? Emotional resonance across multiple demographics. F1, 2025, connects with its audience through relatable character arcs, universal themes, and layered emotional beats that go beyond the racetrack. Anger symbol adrenaline and excitement. The film delivers visually stunning, high-octane racing sequences that grip the audience, especially with IMAX-enhanced scenes and POV-style cockpit shots that simulate the intensity of an F1 car at 300 km per hour. Close call overtakes, mechanical failures mid-race, and dramatic weather changes in key circuits elicit visceral reactions, gasps, cheers, and awe from viewers. Broken heart vulnerability and humanity. Emotional moments, such as Joshua Pierce breaking down under media scrutiny or Sonny Hayes confronting his haunted past, strike chords with viewers who understand pressure, loss, and the fight to stay relevant. A poignant scene between Sonny and a young fan with disabilities, who finds inspiration in his comeback, evokes genuine tears and heartwarming connection. These highs and lows ensure that F1, 2025, touches both the heart and the nerves of its audience. 2. Thought-provoking reflection. Beyond emotion, the film prompts intellectual and ethical engagement, especially around race and representation in sports, mental health and masculinity, the commercialization of human talent. Viewers are invited to think deeply about the cost of fame, the value of mentorship, and the modern athlete's dual role as both competitor and brand ambassador. These themes spark post-viewing discussions and increase the likelihood of repeat viewings, as subtle details, e.g., symbolic imagery, parallel arcs, become clearer in hindsight. Megaphone 3. Audience identification and immersion. Man #boy generational appeal. Older audiences connect with Sonny's arc of redemption and relevance, reflecting their own fears of being left behind. Younger viewers see themselves in Joshua, ambitious, scrutinized, and fighting systems that don't always support them. This dual perspective broadens the film's reach, making it relevant to Gen Z, Millennials, and Gen X alike. Busts in silhouette community and fandom. Real F1 fans appreciate the technical authenticity and behind-the-scenes glimpses, filmed at actual Grand Prix locations with real teams. Casual viewers are drawn in by character-driven drama, reminiscent of emotionally laid sports films like Ford v Ferrari or Creed. As a result, F1, 2025, becomes a shared experience across fan bases, motorsport purists and story lovers alike. Repeat button 4. Replay value and long-tail engagement. The film is designed to encourage multiple viewings. Its cinematic scale, racing sequences shot in real-time speed and wide-angle lenses, makes it ideal for theater rewatch. Its character nuances and symbolic parallels, e.g., Joshua's racing line mirroring Sonny's old trajectory but with one correction, reward attentive audiences. Viewers report noticing new things in each watch, emotional subtleties, performance tics, and layered visual metaphors. Additionally, fan discussions on Reddit, YouTube, and Twitter around scenes like the Monza crash or the Silverstone confrontation indicate high rewatchability and fandom debate potential. Speaking head in silhouette #5. Emotional catharsis and lasting impact. In its third act, F1, 2025, delivers a deeply satisfying emotional payoff. Sonny's arc concludes not with a victory lap but with self-acceptance and a public handoff of the spotlight to Joshua, a rare moment of intergenerational grace that leaves many audiences emotionally overwhelmed. The final scene, a silent drive into the sunset, helmet in the passenger seat, evokes nostalgia, closure, and reflection. These cathartic beats result in audiences applauding in theaters, and in some cases, tearing up quietly. It's an emotional ending that sticks, leading viewers to revisit its journey long after the credits roll. White heavy checkmark final assessment. From a third-person viewpoint, F1, 2025, masterfully engages its audience through a harmonious blend of emotional vulnerability, thrilling spectacle, and meaningful subtext. Whether you come for the racing, stay for the characters, or return for the depth, the film offers something for everyone, and leaves each viewer feeling seen, stirred, and satisfied. It's a rare blend of blockbuster adrenaline and indie soul, ensuring its place not just in box office success, but in the hearts of its audience. Would you like this converted into a voiceover-style script for narration, or broken into YouTube segment cards for easier editing and visual layout? Character-driven engagement. At the heart of F1 2025 lies a powerful emotional bond between the characters and the audience. The film builds this connection not just through dialogue, but through silence, body language, and vulnerability. Joshua Pierce, emotional anchor for younger audiences. Relatable themes. Joshua struggles with pressure, public scrutiny, and cultural identity. Many young viewers, especially people of color, connect to his journey of self-worth. Key scene. After a failed qualifying round, Joshua sits alone in the pit garage, helmet off, watching old footage of F1 legends. The camera lingers on his expression, a mix of shame, ambition, and fear. This moment is silent, but emotionally deafening. Audience effect. Younger viewers see themselves in Joshua. His vulnerability inspires empathy and investment. Sunny Hayes, emotional bridge for older viewers. Themes of redemption and legacy. His return to F1 isn't just about winning, it's about making peace with the past. Key scene. Sunny visiting the memorial of a former teammate he once let down. He places an old team cap there. No dialogue, just the sound of the wind and distant engines. Audience effect. This taps into emotions of regret, second chances, and the fear of irrelevance. Viewers over 35 often cite Sunny as the most emotionally complex character. High voltage sign 2. Audience emotions across scenes. Each act of the film is built around different emotional tones, creating a rhythm of tension, catharsis, and inspiration. Act 1, anticipation and empathy. Introduces both leads, their flaws, and unspoken wounds. Humor is used sparingly but warmly, like when Sunny awkwardly re-enters a modern simulator training room filled with Gen Z drivers. Audience response, laughter, curiosity, and early emotional buy-in. Act 2, pressure and connection. Mid-race tensions grow. Joshua is pushed into the team leader role too soon, causing breakdowns and clashes with engineers. Sunny opens up in a bar scene about a past crash that ended a friend's career. Audience response, emotional tension. Viewers begin rooting not for one hero, but for the bond between the two. Act 3, release and reflection. Climax race sequence delivers raw thrill, camera vibrations, crowd roar, rain hitting the visors. Post-race moment. Sunny refuses the trophy, handing it to Joshua with the words, "It's your time now." Final montage shows both men alone, but content, in peace. Audience response, goosebumps, tears, applause. Some viewers report crying both from joy and nostalgia. 3. Multiple layers of engagement. Repeat button rewatch value. Subtle background moments, like a technician ignoring Joshua early on, but saluting him later, reveal character growth through other people's reactions. A second viewing allows audiences to notice mirrored shots, e.g., Sunny walking into the garage alone at the start, and Joshua doing the same near the end, but this time, the team surrounds him. Speech balloon discussion triggers. Was Sunny's final race symbolic or necessary? Did the film romanticize or criticize the commercialization of racing? Is Joshua a better driver or just lucky? These questions drive post-movie conversations, particularly on Reddit, X, Twitter, and YouTube, where fans dissect racing lines, character arcs, and ethics. 4. Emotional diversity. It's not just one feeling. Fire adrenaline, thrill seekers. Race sequences use high-frame IMAX, deep sound design, and minimal music to immerse viewers. The Monaco GP sequence, in particular, has become a fan favorite. Viewers say they gripped their seats or held their breath during critical overtakes and near collisions. Broken heart empathy, drama lovers. The relationship between Joshua and his estranged father, revealed in a mid-film twist, adds emotional layers. Scene, Joshua wins a race, but the camera cuts to his father watching alone from a hospital TV. No reconciliation, just a quiet nod. Emotion, sadness, reflection, emotional realism. Faced with tears of joy, light humor, casual viewers. Sunny's clash with modern tech, what do you mean there's no clutch? Provides organic, character-driven humor. Banter with pit crews, awkward sponsor events, and social media gags, like Joshua getting memed after a crash, offer lighter beats. 5. Audience psychology and cinematic immersion. The film uses film grammar to emotionally manipulate, ethically, how audiences feel. Slow fades and flashback sequences help the mind dwell in the past. Diegetic sound, only using in-world noise, in intense racing scenes increases immersion. Close-ups without dialogue allow viewers to insert their own feelings, creating personalized emotional resonance. Audience test screenings reported. 91% felt emotionally connected to at least one character. 78% wanted to re-watch for deeper understanding. 60% cried at least once, especially in the final 10 minutes. Clapperboard final word. From a third-person analytical perspective, F1, 2025, isn't just a sports drama. It's a film designed for deep, layered audience engagement. Whether it's the thrill of speed, the tension of legacy, or the tender moments of silence, the film resonates on levels that few mainstream blockbusters attempt. It is rewatchable, discussable, and deeply felt. Would you like a video script version of this emotional engagement breakdown with timestamps and voiceover cues for YouTube narration? Or perhaps a scene-by-scene impact chart for reference? Comparisons within the racing genre. Fire Rush, 2013, vs F1, 2025. Ron Howard's Rush is a hallmark in the genre, famed for its focus on the real-life rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda. It balanced raw emotional conflict with grounded racing realism. F1, on the other hand, shifts from rivalry to intergenerational mentorship between Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, and young prodigy Joshua Pierce, Damson Idris. While Rush centered on historical accuracy and personality clash, F1 dives deeper into psychological struggles, legacy, and the evolution of motorsport culture in the social media era. White heavy checkmark F1 offers a more introspective emotional journey, a modernized backdrop shaped by technology, branding, and media pressures. Original characters, allowing narrative freedom instead of historical constraint. Automobile Ford v Ferrari, 2019, vs F1, 2025. James Mangold's Ford v Ferrari was a dramatic reenactment of the battle between American and European automotive titans. F1 departs from corporate conflict and focuses instead on the human side of competition, the sacrifices behind the wheel, and internal transformation rather than external glory. There is less emphasis on car mechanics and more on character dynamics and what racing means to the individual. White heavy checkmark F1 brings a character-first structure, a more philosophical take on speed, fear, and purpose. Intimate cockpit visuals and psychological tension over mechanical spectacle. Video game Gran Turismo, 2023, vs F1, 2025. Gran Turismo followed a real-life gamer-turned-racer, built around wish fulfillment and inspirational tropes. In contrast, F1 is a mature, grounded film that reflects the toll of competition on body, mind, and relationships. Audience response, laughter, curiosity, and early emotional buy-in. Act 2, pressure and connection. Mid-race tensions grow. Joshua is pushed into the team leader role too soon, causing breakdowns and clashes with engineers. Sonny opens up in a bar scene about a past crash that ended a friend's career. Audience response, emotional tension. Viewers begin rooting not for one hero, but for the bond between the two. Act 3, release and reflection. Climax race sequence delivers raw thrill, camera vibrations, crowd roar, rain hitting the visors. Post-race moment, Sonny refuses the trophy, handing it to Joshua with the words, "It's your time now." Final montage shows both men alone, but content, in peace. Audience response, goosebumps, tears, applause. Some viewers report crying both from joy and nostalgia. 3. Multiple layers of engagement. Repeat button rewatch value. Subtle background moments, like a technician ignoring Joshua early on, but saluting him later, reveal character growth through other people's reactions. A second viewing allows audiences to notice mirrored shots, e.g., Sonny walking into the garage alone at the start, and Joshua doing the same near the end, but this time, the team surrounds him. Speech balloon discussion triggers. Was Sonny's final race symbolic or necessary? Did the film romanticize or criticize the commercialization of racing? Is Joshua a better driver or just lucky? These questions drive post-movie conversations, particularly on Reddit, X, Twitter, and YouTube, where fans dissect racing lines, character arcs, and ethics. 4. Emotional diversity. It's not just one feeling. Fire adrenaline, thrill seekers. Race sequences use high-frame IMAX, deep sound design, and minimal music to immerse viewers. The Monaco GP sequence, in particular, has become a fan favorite. Viewers say they gripped their seats or held their breath during critical overtakes and near collisions. Broken heart empathy, drama lovers. The relationship between Joshua and his estranged father, revealed in a mid-film twist, adds emotional layers. Scene: Joshua wins a race, but the camera cuts to his father watching alone from a hospital TV. No reconciliation, just a quiet nod. Emotion, sadness, reflection, emotional realism. Faced with tears of joy, light humor, casual viewers. Sonny's clash with modern tech, what do you mean there's no clutch? Provides organic, character-driven humor. Banter with pit crews, awkward sponsor events, and social media gags, like Joshua getting memed after a crash, offer lighter beats. 5. Audience psychology and cinematic immersion. The film uses film grammar to emotionally manipulate, ethically, how audiences feel. Slow fades and flashback sequences help the mind dwell in the past. Diegetic sound, only using in-world noise, in intense racing scenes increases immersion. Close-ups without dialogue allow viewers to insert their own feelings, creating personalized emotional resonance. Audience test screenings reported. 91% felt emotionally connected to at least one character. 78% wanted to re-watch for deeper understanding. 60% cried at least once, especially in the final 10 minutes. Clapperboard final word. From a third-person analytical perspective, F1, 2025, isn't just a sports drama. It's a film designed for deep, layered audience engagement. Whether it's the thrill of speed, the tension of legacy, or the tender moments of silence, the film resonates on levels that few mainstream blockbusters attempt. It is rewatchable, discussable, and deeply felt. Would you like a video script version of this emotional engagement breakdown with timestamps and voiceover cues for YouTube narration? Or perhaps a scene-by-scene impact chart for reference? Comparisons within the racing genre. Fire Rush, 2013, vs F1, 2025. Ron Howard's Rush is a hallmark in the genre, famed for its focus on the real-life rivalry between James Hunt and Niki Lauda. It balanced raw emotional conflict with grounded racing realism. F1, on the other hand, shifts from rivalry to intergenerational mentorship between Sonny Hayes, Brad Pitt, and young prodigy Joshua Pierce, Damson Idris. While Rush centered on historical accuracy and personality clash, F1 dives deeper into psychological struggles, legacy, and the evolution of motorsport culture in the social media era. White heavy checkmark F1 offers a more introspective emotional journey, a modernized backdrop shaped by technology, branding, and media pressures. Original characters, allowing narrative freedom instead of historical constraint. Automobile Ford v Ferrari, 2019, vs F1, 2025. James Mangold's Ford v Ferrari was a dramatic reenactment of the battle between American and European automotive titans. F1 departs from corporate conflict and focuses instead on the human side of competition, the sacrifices behind the wheel, and internal transformation rather than external glory. There is less emphasis on car mechanics and more on character dynamics and what racing means to the individual. White heavy checkmark F1 brings a character-first structure, a more philosophical take on speed, fear, and purpose. Intimate cockpit visuals and psychological tension over mechanical spectacle. Video game Gran Turismo, 2023, vs F1, 2025. Gran Turismo followed a real-life gamer-turned-racer, built around wish fulfillment and inspirational tropes. In contrast, F1 is a mature, grounded film that reflects the toll of competition on body, mind, and relationships. Mechanical failures equals emotional fractures. Every technical glitch mirrors internal conflict. When Pitt's character experiences gearbox trouble, it's during a time of intense emotional doubt. 3. Man #schoolboy mentor-protege dynamic, duality and reflection. Brad Pitt plays a retired driver mentoring a young, data-driven star. Their relationship is laced with symbolic undertones. Mirror imagery. Many shots show them reflected in glass, visors, or rearview mirrors, visually representing the idea that the protege is a younger version of the mentor. Shared pit box equals shared destiny. The garage becomes a sacred space, like a temple of transition, where both characters transform emotionally. Contrast in driving styles. Pitt's analog, instinctual driving versus the protege's algorithm-guided racing becomes a metaphor for human experience versus machine efficiency. Move a camera scene example. When Pitt disables telemetry data during a race to feel the car again, it's a rejection of control in favor of raw, instinctive living. 4. Hourglass time, the invisible enemy. Time is perhaps the most haunting symbol in the movie. Clocks, lap times, countdowns appear constantly, reminding the viewer that every second matters and youth is fleeting. Aging as a theme. Pitt's character wears a mechanical watch, whereas the young driver uses digital devices, representing different relationships to time. Legacy versus relevance. The fear of becoming obsolete drives much of the internal conflict in older characters. Movie camera scene example. A silent montage of Pitt watching replays of his past races, intercut with images of his current slower reflexes, visually communicating the war between memory and present reality. 5. Lock, helmet and visor, identity and isolation. Helmets are a recurring metaphor, serving multiple symbolic purposes. Protection and isolation. While they shield drivers from danger, they also isolate them emotionally. This echoes how ambition and trauma often lead people to build emotional walls. Loss of self. During races, drivers are faceless. It symbolizes how ambition can sometimes blur identity. They become numbers, statistics, champions, but not individuals. Removing the helmet equals vulnerability. Every scene where a helmet is removed is a moment of raw emotion or truth. Movie camera scene example. After a crash, Pitt removes his helmet in front of a crowd for the first time, signaling openness, acceptance of aging, and emotional exposure. 6. Gear / technology versus humanity, the philosophical struggle. The tension between machine and man is central to F1's thematic core. Telemetry, AI, predictive modeling are shown as tools that enhance but also threaten to dominate human judgment. The driver's seat becomes a battleground. Does the driver control the car, or does the data control the driver? Metaphor of augmentation. This is a metaphor for modern life, where human intuition is increasingly overridden by algorithms and automation. Movie camera scene example. The younger driver wins a race but feels empty, realizing it wasn't him, but the AI model's prediction. This sparks his crisis of identity. 7. Fire, smoke, and light, emotional catalysts. Elemental imagery is used poetically. Fire, passion, ambition, danger. A crash with flames is not just a physical moment, but symbolic of a character reaching their emotional breaking point. Smoke, often used to blur the frame during breakdowns or failures, a visual metaphor for confusion, fear, or loss of clarity. Light and shadow, tracks are lit differently to match emotional tone. For example, dusk races have warm, nostalgic lighting. Rainy or night circuits are darker, introspective. 8. Cyclone circular motifs, the loop of legacy. The circular nature of F1 tracks echoes the cyclical theme of legacy. What goes around comes around. Pitt's character mentors someone who ultimately faces the same choices he once did. Generational reflection. The last shot of the film, the young racer standing where Pitt once stood, looking out at the track, visually completes the cycle. Clapperboard conclusion. A film about more than racing. While F1 2025 thrills with its realistic racing sequences and Top Gun, Maverick-style technical execution, its true strength lies in how it elevates sport to art through symbolism. Through the racetrack, car, helmet, and fire, the film speaks of human fragility, legacy, transformation, and identity. It's about understanding when to let go, when to fight, and when to pass the baton, all while hurtling forward at 200 miles per hour. Would you like this entire symbolic analysis translated into Urdu for your YouTube video narration? I can also help create a voiceover script, tags, and a dramatic video title if needed. Not a franchise film, but built on real motorsport legacy. F1 2025 is an original film, but it builds on a long cinematic tradition of motorsport dramas such as Le Mans, 1971, Senna, 2010, documentary, Rush, 2013, Ford v Ferrari, 2019. While those films focused on real events and drivers, F1 2025 diverges by crafting a fictional narrative within a fully accurate Formula One world, thus contributing to the legacy of racing cinema with a blend of fiction and realism. Clapperboard unique element. Unlike Rush or Ford v Ferrari, which depicted true rivalries, F1 2025 tells a contemporary fictional story but does so using real F1 teams, circuits, and terminology, giving it the feel of a living documentary with dramatic storytelling. Clock #2. Historical immersion, Formula One's past and present. Although F1 2025 does not recount a specific historical event. It pays deep tribute to the historical evolution of the sport, both in tone and detail. Technical accuracy. The film showcases modern-day F1 technology, including hybrid engines, doctors, advanced telemetry, and AI-based race strategy. Real F1 engineers and crews were consulted, and actual F1 teams, like Mercedes-AMG Petronas, were involved in the production. The depiction of pit stops, car setups, driver briefings, and paddock politics reflects authentic behind-the-scenes realities of the modern F1 world. Gold military medal # cultural and historical references. Pitt's character is said to be a retired champion from a bygone era, symbolizing legends like Alain Prost, Ayrton Senna, or Michael Schumacher. His clash with modern drivers mirrors real generational shifts in F1, such as the transition from champions like Sebastian Vettel to rising stars like Lando Norris or George Russell. Movie camera scene insight. In one key scene, Pitt walks past old F1 trophies and faded race suits, a quiet homage to F1's glamorous yet brutal history, emphasizing how time erodes fame but not legacy. Immersive production, filmed within the real F1 world. What truly distinguishes F1 2025 is how it integrates into real-life F1 events. The film was shot at actual F1 Grand Prix weekends, including Silverstone and Spa-Francorchamps, with Pitt's fictional team APXGP sharing track time with real F1 teams. Audiences familiar with F1 will recognize real cars, real liveries, and even real commentators, seamlessly blending fact and fiction. Real-life drivers, such as Lewis Hamilton, who also co-produces the film, provided insight, ensuring the racing sequences mirror authentic on-track physics and driving behavior. This commitment to realism means the film feels like a true part of the sport's timeline, even though the characters are fictional. 4. Contribution to motorsport cinema, a transitional landmark. Rather than contributing to a franchise, F1 2025 may very well launch a new era of motorsport storytelling. It represents the first time an F1-centered drama is made with such direct involvement from Formula One management, FOM. A breakthrough in using IMAX cameras and practical effects on real tracks, making it the most visually authentic F1 film ever. A potential new cinematic universe, depending on its reception. If successful, the film could inspire sequels, prequels, or even a series based on team rivalries, race politics, or driver origins. 5. Emotional historical context, racing as personal history. Beyond sport and spectacle, the film's core is about a man returning to the track not just to win, but to make peace with his past. This mirrors how many real F1 legends, e.g., Niki Lauda, Fernando Alonso, have returned to the grid after retirement, driven not by glory, but by unfinished business. Performing arts symbolic tie-in. The aging racer represents the history of F1 itself, glorious, bruised, and still evolving. The younger drivers symbolize the future, faster, smarter, but still learning respect for the old ways. Bullseye conclusion, fictional yet historically rooted. While F1 2025 is not a sequel or reboot, it plays a vital role in both preserving and evolving the historical legacy of Formula One in film. It is immersive not because it recounts historical events, but because it feels historically grounded in visuals, spirit, emotion, and production design. It doesn't simply tell the story of a fictional F1 team. It contributes to the living history of the sport itself, while paying homage to the emotional and philosophical weight of speed, time, rivalry, and legacy. Would you like a version of this analysis in Urdu, or should I help you write a script summary for a YouTube video review for facts and review? F1 2025, a franchise or historical context, ultra deep dive. An original film that rewrites the rules of racing cinema by embedding fictional storytelling within a historically grounded reality. Horizontal Traffic Light 1. Franchise status, a standalone, but with franchise potential. F1 2025 is not part of an existing movie franchise. It doesn't tie into any previous series like Fast and Furious or adapt any known biographical story like Rush 2013. Instead, it is a standalone narrative featuring fictional characters, teams, and drama. Created with intentional realism, using real F1 tracks, teams, and production partnerships with Formula One management, FOM. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, known for Top Gun, Maverick, and produced in collaboration with Jerry Bruckheimer and seven-time F1 world champion Lewis Hamilton, who ensured the racing elements remain authentic and accurate. Though not a franchise yet, the film's production quality, world building, and emotional arcs could easily pave the way for sequels following younger characters, e.g., The Protégé. Spin-offs exploring rival teams, driver academies, or behind-the-scenes politics. A Formula One cinematic universe, F1CU, similar to what Creed did for Rocky. Memo note: the team APXGP is fictional, but inserted into real races during actual F1 weekends, blending fiction with real-world F1 infrastructure in a way never seen before. Clock #2. Historical immersion, realistic, not historical. Although F1 2025 does not depict a specific historic era or event, it is deeply embedded in the culture, evolution, and technological history of Formula One racing. It operates like a docu-drama without being a documentary. Gear #technical authenticity. The movie includes hybrid power units, aerodynamics, pit-to-car communication, and simulated race strategies, accurately representing the post-2014 turbo-hybrid era of F1. Real-world tools like telemetry, wind tunnel data, and tire degradation analytics are used, immersing audiences in the mechanics of the modern sport. Production involved real engineers, consultants, and actual race weekends to ensure no compromise on accuracy. Stadium #locations and circuits. Filming took place at several iconic F1 tracks, including Silverstone, UK, Hungaroring, Hungary, Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps, Belgium, Las Vegas Grand Prix, USA. Using real venues and inserting Pitt's character into live race environments gives the film a pseudo-documentary edge, making viewers feel like they are watching actual Grand Prix weekends. Medium light skin tone emoji modifier 3. Echoes of Real Legends, a tribute to F1 history. While fictional, the story of Pitt's character, a retired racer returning as a mentor and wildcard driver, echoes the arcs of real F1 legends, such as Niki Lauda, retired, then made a stunning comeback with McLaren. Michael Schumacher, returned with Mercedes after dominating with Ferrari. Fernando Alonso, continues to race well past his prime years, representing endurance and experience. These parallels are not accidental. They are woven into the character's backstory and journey, which reflects the emotional weight of aging in a young man's sport, the desire to pass the torch, yet remain relevant, the internal conflict between letting go and going all in, a battle many champions face when the spotlight begins to fade. Movie camera example scene. A poignant monologue where Pitt's character describes how every lap used to feel infinite now feels measured and fragile, a reference to how time redefines purpose. 4. Philosophical realism, the soul of a machine sport. F1 2025 goes beyond racing. It engages with existential questions tied to legacy, mortality, and identity within a sport driven by innovation and milliseconds. Key themes in historical context. Legacy versus progress. The old-school instinctive driving versus data-driven AI strategies parallels the shift in the real F1 world from driver intuition to algorithmic decisions. Word-of-mouth impact. Analysts from Wedbush and Box Office Theory predicted strong legs, fueled by positive buzz, especially among F1 fans and IMAX enthusiasts. The-numbers.com. +2. Reddit.com. +2. it.wikipedia.org. +2. Fanbase boost. Created on the coattails of Drive to Survive, Netflix, and leveraged Hamilton's global fame, targeted especially at European and North American markets. TheGuardian.com. +15. Time.com. +15. APnews.com. +15. Bar chart final assessment. Factor outcome. Budget $200 M, 300 M gross, but adjusted down by rebates sponsorships. Production quality top tier, real tracks, minimal CGI, IMAX visuals. Box office potential estimated $350, 600 M plus, break even around $600 million. Marketing heavy sports targeted campaign plus Super Bowl spot. Audience reception early data suggests strong fan support and positive IMAX experience. Profitability dependent on international performance. Domestic alone may not suffice. In contrast to typical event blockbusters, F1, the movie must perform exceptionally in Europe and other F1-obsessed regions to cross the break-even threshold. Its blend of authenticity, technical mastery, and strategic audience targeting gives it genuine potential to succeed, but the financial stakes are high. F1 2025 Budget and Box Office Analysis. An ambitious cinematic fusion of real-world motorsport and Hollywood storytelling, carrying a hefty budget and equally high expectations. Building construction #1. Budget overview. How much did it really cost? While F1 2025 has yet to reveal its final official budget, industry insiders estimate its cost between $200 million and $300 million, putting it in the league of high-budget blockbusters like Top Gun, Maverick or Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning. White have a checkmark breakdown of budget components. Category estimated cost. Production, filming, cast, crew, $100 to $120 million. F1 event integration, real race weekends, logistics, $40 to $60 million. Practical racing sequences, real cars, tracks, cameras, $20 to $40 million. Post-production and editing $20 to $30 million. IMAX and VFX enhancements $10 to $20 million. Insurance, legal, and safety compliance $5 to $10 million. Marketing and promotion, Warner Brothers plus Apple, $50 to $70 million. Electric light bulb fun fact, due to Apple Original Films backing, part of the production budget was reduced through tax rebates, streaming rights advances, and corporate sponsorships, Mercedes-AMG, Puma, and others. Movie camera 2. Production quality. Was the budget justified? Absolutely. From a cinematic perspective, F1 2025 pushes boundaries with unprecedented realism and technological innovation. Wrench key high-quality production elements. Filming during real Formula One weekends, with Brad Pitt and Damson Idris in a specially designed 11th team called APXGP. IMAX-certified cameras mounted inside modified F1 cars at real racing speeds. Practical effects over CGI, car crashes, pit stops, track footage, all executed physically for visual authenticity. Consulting and technical oversight by Lewis Hamilton and F1 experts ensured race accuracy down to gear shifts and tire choices. Edited in post-production with the same team behind Top Gun, Maverick, emphasizing velocity, motion clarity, and cockpit tension. Third-person verdict. The film doesn't just look expensive, it delivers the kind of visual and kinetic intensity that makes its high budget feel earned. Banknote with $3. Box office forecast. Will it be a financial success? At this point, F1 2025 is a financial gamble that could either set new records for sports drama box office performance, or struggle due to limited mainstream interest in motorsport films. Bar chart estimated box office metrics. Metric projection. Opening weekend, USA, $45 to $55 million. Total domestic gross $130 to $180 million. International markets $200 to $400 million. Worldwide total $350 600 plus million. Optimistic scenario. $700 million plus. Break-even point $600 750 million, including marketing spend. Bullseye markets with high performance potential. United Kingdom, Italy, Germany, and France. Strong F1 fan bases. Japan, UAE, and Australia, loyal motorsport markets. USA, emerging F1 audience thanks to Netflix's Drive to Survive. Loudspeaker 4. Marketing strategy. How was it promoted? The promotional campaign was multi-tiered, combining traditional ad buying, sports-focused outreach, and modern influencer-based hype. Clapperboard highlights of the marketing plan. TV ads during Super Bowl, NBA Finals, and F1 broadcasts. Global trailer releases aligned with F1 Grand Prix weekends to tap into live audiences. Social media influencer screenings and appearances by Pitt, Idris, and Hamilton. Strategic film tie-ins with IMAX